Welcome to Champagne Football Lemonade Banter. This season is brought to you by the Lightweight Athletic Club.
Whatever you're watching us on, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
We'll talk about that. Okay, so welcome back to Champagne Football. Joined today with two guests. You're no longer NPL, mate. Harrison and Lachlan Griffiths. You're still NPL, obviously, Lachie.
Yeah.
But Harrison from Sydney FC. Aye.
There's something bubbling in the background here. We've just started.
Lads, thanks for coming on. Brilliant to have you on board. And obviously Chaz.
Hi guys.
As always. Okay, so I also wanted to mention to you, because you two's on, what about Dean Henderson's performance at the weekend? Did you see his?
Oh, it was unreal.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Did well.
Unbelievable.
Sent off, but should they have been?
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, he caught the ball, got the hand on the ball outside the box.
I didn't even see that.
I think the ball's come over the top and he's went and literally just palmed it, but he must have been at least a metre out the box, with his hands.
Well, I don't get why, you go back to VAR and why they do nothing about it.
Bizarre.
What's the point of it then?
It's really, really strange.
So why did VAR not do anything about it?
I think the argument was that the touch went away from goal.
Yeah.
But so VAR checked and said it's still a red card?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But Keeper's Union, so I
100%. Great decision.
It's some game, wasn't it?
It was great, man.
He had some game. Brilliant.
That's mad, that though. 127 years or something they've been going. That's our first major trophy.
But that was probably I was talking to some of the boys. I was like, if Man City lost this game, you wouldn't be that surprised the way the seasons went. They've not been brilliant this season. They've been very unpredictable. It's been a bit of a weird year because Liverpool have fucking romped the league.
Yeah.
The bottom three have almost been the bottom three most of the year.
Yeah.
Tottenham and Man U are sitting 17th
and 16th, and they're in the Europa League
Nottingham
final.
Forest are fighting for. It's been
Champions
a fucking
League,
mental year.
aye.
I mean, it's been good. And speaking of that, what about the Serie A?
I know.
Did you see that? The Napoli
2 draws.
Aye, but did you see the
I didn't see the thing you were talking about yesterday.
Aye, so it was VAR decisions in the last minute. So Inter Milan scored 2, I think. Scored 2 goals. Aye, and they got disallowed with VAR.
Both of them?
Aye, well, one was definite.
Right.
It was Arnautovic scored like the 93rd minute or something like that. It was like, it was offside. Another one was like the 90th minute, I think, or 88th minute, I got disallowed. Then Napoli, what happened to the Napoli game again? Something happened with VAR as well.
I did see that one.
Was that a penalty or something like that?
Yeah, I think a penalty overruled or something.
Aye, something like that. A penalty got overruled, that's right, aye. Yeah. Which I don't know, but like it was on the edge. But he cuts inside, he gets fouled. And it's like the 90th minute or 85th minute or something like that.
Was it a Napoli player? Or was it
it's for a Napoli pen.
Right, okay.
And it gets overturned. So now it goes to the wire.
Aye, last game of the
because obviously
season.
Milan could have went to the top. And now I think if Napoli lose and Inter draw, it goes to a playoff final.
Oh wow!
If they play each other.
So
I think Serie A is different. I don't think
the goal
There's
difference.
no goal difference.
I think so. I think that's the rule.
I
That's
think it's
quite cool.
played versus each other. And I think it was the same.
Oh, is it two legs?
No, I think it's not goal difference.
It's head to head.
They're head to head. Yeah.
Right,
By the way, imagine that Napoli and imagine refereeing that game. Making an arse of it, you'd be mafia about the door.
Aye, not for me. Stressful.
And Dutch league as well. Ajax won 9 points clear, and then PSV won the league.
How many games to go with the 9 points clear?
Obviously at least 3, but I mean, I don't know how it was close. Like maybe 4 or 5 games.
Wow.
So it was tight.
And then because I saw the manager left.
Did he?
Aye, he resigned.
I didn't see that. Speaking of managers left, who else left? MPL.
Hills changed coach. Gary Van Egmond took the Hills job, which is quite a big statement from them in terms of his kind of coaching career. I think he was at Newcastle Jets, the women's last. And then MacArthur Rams have also got a new coach, and I wrote it here somewhere, but I've got that many bits of paper that it's here. Timothy Aitkins, their new coach, but they're obviously struggling. MacArthur Rams are sitting rock bottom of MPL2, so I suppose they had to. And Hills are struggling. I think that MacArthur Rams are bottom, then Mounties, Bonnyrigg and Hills are all 3 points above them.
Are Hills still in the cup? Or they get knocked out?
Yes, they're still in the cup.
They are still in the cup.
Are they playing Tigers?
Tigers.
Play Tigers, aye. So we won MPL2 side and
that's it. And who got Granville Ridge? Sydney United got Granville Ridge?
Aye, Sydney United got up. And it's Marconi happy, isn't it?
Yeah.
When is that, do you know?
Next Wednesday?
Next weekend. I don't know, it's next week sometime, not sure what day.
Yeah, 28th. I checked today. Next Wednesday.
Training. Is it are you at home?
At Lambert.
Oh, Lambert.
No, there's no chance.
Are we return there for yous? Well, what was the score up?
2-0.
2-0, yeah. Quite comfortable as well for yous.
Yeah, in terms of their chances, I didn't have many.
Yeah,
First 10 minutes had the chance off the bar.
Yeah, that was a good strike from
Great strike.
Romania, yeah.
Yeah.
First 10, I was like,
they look sharp.
I was like,
first 10,
what is this? I was like, oh no.
It was one touch, look sharp as.
I think once Mark spoke down the line, across the tree, we scored.
Yeah.
After that,
Oh, it was comfortable.
Yeah,
it was.
I think we definitely needed a goal early like that to calm
You
them
Marconi'd
down.
them.
What's that?
You Marconi'd them. He scored and just didn't let anyone. That was it. Just shut up shop, man.
Yeah.
Been like that all season.
Yeah.
Before we get started, just a quick mention about Deploy. Deploy, sponsoring the podcast, developing Australia's best value for money footballs tailored to every price point and category. From day one, Deploy's focused on engineering footballs for purpose, especially the junior progression. So they're now bridging the gap between entry-level training balls and elite match balls. And now they've got a launch of the Deploy's new Elite Match Ball range. They offer a complete football pathway for every age and level of the game. The two new balls are the Deploy Counter and the Deploy Munich. They are the official match balls for 14 local Premier Leagues around New South Wales and are the ball of choice for many NPL clubs. Magnificent.
Class.
Okay, well, let's have a wee recap at NPL 1. So, run through the results. Any shocks, Chaz? Where do you want to start?
We'll start with you. You obviously played away at Saddle.
Yep.
What was your opinion of the game?
From my point of view, it was fairly comfortable
Yeah.
for Marconi. I think Souther were missing a few key players. I think Moy Ahmed suspended, Jake Garner was surgery, and you obviously got Nick Sullivan, Wong. All them, all out.
Yeah.
So their squad was quite young, very young, which made it comfortable. I think first half especially, we were in there half most of the time. And then second half, a bit of back and forth, and just a lot of transition.
They had one good chance about 65th minute. The guy inside the edge of the box, top bin, and Houghton put. It was a decent strike, but it was comfortable.
Comfortable save.
But that was probably the best chance he had. What about the new setup? So that's Sutherland setup.
Yeah,
Class.
unreal.
Is
Unreal.
it?
Yeah. Even like walking in, you got the restaurant on the left and nice bar area on the right. As a Marconi player or another player outside of Souther, it's like you'd go there to watch games if you live close and nothing to do.
What about the pitch? Is the pitch better?
Yeah, it was good.
Aye.
It was good.
The pitch was
How
shocking.
bad was it?
The worst.
As a keeper, you'd leave there with like 2 kilos of that rubber.
That's because the video you guys posted of him doing that stuff in the background, that was at
Man, I actually forgot about that.
What were you up to anyway?
What do you mean?
Oh, you did
He did every game. Every game.
what do you mean?
You gotta stay warm. Like we were pretty dominant that year, so sometimes like I wouldn't touch the ball for like large periods of the game, and then you have to, make a save in the 80th, 85th, 90th minute. So I mean, it's just a way that I stay warm. I still do it now, but
Brilliant, man.
What do you do?
Nothing, mate.
Nothing.
Nothing. Just walk about and shout at people.
You do anything to stay warm, no?
Nah, not really.
No?
But I think that we tend to be quite transitional in games, so they don't get long periods of time when you're not involved. You know what I mean? It's not like I'd be super dominant. Like there's always things happening. So,
I think that's the hardest thing about being a goalkeeper. That part where there's large spells of nothing and having to be at top at that one moment you're called
100%.
upon.
Do you know, for me it's worse than training. It's worse than training if you're doing a training session where you go in and it's like shape work, and I didn't mind it so much when I was young, but see now that I'm older, it's a case of you'll be doing half an hour of just walking through things and like you're just standing there. Then they're going to shoot on sight. I'm like, are you fucking kidding on? I've literally been standing still for 40 minutes. Like I find that really, really difficult. But in games is different. For me, it's like as long as my head's in it, I feel fine. Like my body will do what my head says. So it's just about keeping yourself engaged that way. So it's just constant chat for me.
Aye. There you go.
I don't have any problems talking. Do you know what I mean?
So I come to 1 for Marconi, another 3 points on the board, still top of the table.
Still top of the table. It looked like it could have been a lot more as well. Nizic had a decent game in goal for
Unreal, yeah.
For Southern,
a couple
good,
of boys had, I think, at least 4 or 5 1v1 chances.
Yeah. He's just such a big man.
He is, man.
He's huge.
Shot stopper for sure.
Yeah.
His kicking was...
Oh, here we go.
How many clean sheets is that now for you?
6 or 7, I think.
Oh, decent.
It's decent in 15 games, man.
Yeah.
So what have you conceded? How many have you conceded? 10?
10
goals?
yeah.
It's on there. Organised today, done all the league tables and that, know what I mean?
Oh, that's Victoria one. I've actually got it me. So
Yeah, 10 goals, yeah.
I did. I think, obviously, I know, in Rockdale, you couldn't have been far off the best defensive team last year. Couldn't have been far off it.
Well, before round 20, yeah.
Who finished off at the best?
Marconi
Finished top again.
Yeah.
You just scored a barrel load last year, but didn't you?
He scored a lot, yeah.
And this year's the same.
Someone did.
Someone.
To be fair, like Spirit's alright. We're 15 goals. I think Manly as well. Manly's on 16 goals, which is not bad considering. I don't know how many clean sheets we've had though. To be fair,
I think they've had actually quite a few as well.
Aye, we've done alright. I mean, that's half the battle, isn't it? But let's be honest, that is half the battle, especially in NPL because it is hard to keep a clean sheet in NPL. It's fucking wild.
That is tough.
Yeah,
wild. Okay, what else we got? What's up with the Sydney Olympic game at Apia? By the way, Big Ten Qual. He's a millionaire now, isn't he? He put $1 million on Segreto first goal. Fucking hell! What's going on about?
You've done him there. That's quite funny. Aye, that's a bad. You know,
to be fair, I feel bad for him because he gets shifted about position wise all the time.
Yeah,
plays everywhere.
Well, 10 minutes later after that, I think he got the ball and dribbled the
the
whole
amazing.
team.
He nearly scored, man. Aye, Bazaris made a good save.
I feel bad for him.
Aye, it's a hard one. It's a hard because he's obviously just not seen Segreto coming into the picture and he's just tried.
What was the second goal? But
exact same thing.
Was it him again?
It wasn't him. No.
I was going to say.
It's got played out and it's their left fullback or wingers came in and tried to bounce it back to the keeper, get intercepted again. But you look at that and you've basically given 2 goals. You've lost the game 2-0.
To be fair though, I mean the highlights Apia, the first minute of the highlights was like 4 sitters for Apia.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that then you look at it and the goals that they've actually conceded is
I know.
So otherwise it's a nut in each game potentially. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was tough because again Gibbo had a good game and goal, and it looked like from the highlights that it was only really what's his name. 10 goals chance was only real one for Bazaris to make a save from. That's what it looked like.
What about see this table, Chaz? Is this including the 3-point deduction?
I think so, aye.
Because that's what Sydney Olympic on 16 points in 11th position. I mean, only 5 points off the playoffs, but with a game in hand as well.
You see that, the 5 points off the playoff. Obviously, we've been hanging about Sydney United have had a poor start.
6th now.
And now they're 6th.
Well, to be fair, I think if you look at that top 6, Spirit's probably disrupted it a little bit, and if you put Sydney Olympic in there, that would be the 6 everyone would expect.
Yeah.
But I think it's sort of the league has settled a little bit.
Yeah.
From the start, you've now got Marconi, Rockdale, then Spirit, but then Blacktown, Apia, Sydney United, and then you've got that pack like Manly, Wolves, St George City, Sydney FC, Olympic, St George, and it drops again.
Yeah.
You've got Sharks, Western Sydney Wanderers, Mountains Route, Central Coast. I can't see Central Coast not getting relegated. 6 points.
Yeah.
Young side. Can't see it again.
Do you know what you say? Watching the highlights of them against Wanderers, I thought they looked really quite good.
Mate, when we played against them as well, they were not bad. Like, they weren't bad by any means, but they're just so young. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard, and I think just now you see Sydney FC are dropping. Like they've dropping Big Kyle, they're dropping Quintal and France and all that. Whereas Central Coast aren't doing that either. Yeah. So it does make an impact. I don't think Wanderers done that either, to be fair. So it does make an impact. In Sydney FC, you can see that they've shot up a bit, but beat Blacktown, gave Rockdale a good run for their money. Yeah. So they're right in amongst it. Obviously, they've got different ambitions in terms of how they want to see the rest of the season compared to like Marconi or Rockdale, etc. But they want to get themselves safe early doors before they have the break. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Central Coast can be a bit of bother, but that was a good game as well. To be fair, the highlights 2-2.
2-2.
Aye, and big chance at the end as well. Central Coast just went by the post.
Aye, just by the post.
Keepers played well there as well.
I thought both keepers were
aye, good.
But obviously the 3 goals in the first 25 minutes in the first half, and then Central Coast Mariners equalised in the second half, and it finished 2-2. As I said, I thought Central Coast were very, very good in the ball. Very good in the ball. I think the Wanderers were very transitional and kind of.
It's how Wanderers play.
Yeah,
that's how they play.
Yeah, you could see it.
Very transitional.
Manly St George, nothing each. We were talking about the
Curse of
Champagne football and the penalties, man. So obviously Lucas Meek last week and missed a penalty in the 85th minute, but it looked like Mackenzie Siren had a great game in goal for St George.
Aye,
made a lot of saves. It looked like Manly probably deserved to win the game.
I don't know. From highlights, I think maybe, but I think from reports, I heard it was a wee bit itchy-peachy, but in the last 10-15 minutes, Manly sort of took strong hold of the game. But again, I don't know. I actually heard that Darcy Burgess when he came on made a big difference.
Right.
Aye, heard he made a big difference when he came on. That's one of the chances seem to be in the highlights as well.
Yeah.
There was a big chance right before that. Darcy cuts it back about the 6-yard box and it's an empty net.
Yeah.
And he put it over the bar. I don't know who it was. But penalty, what about the penalty? Do you think? Good save, shape pen?
Always a good save.
Fuck off.
Always a good save.
Have you saved any pens this year?
No, not this year. No, No, I had one. We conceded one pen. But my debut for Northern Tigers first grade when I was 17 in the what was like some Australia Cup.
Yeah.
Like went to a penalty shootout and I saved 2 to win it. I think it's just the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
It's like still trying to chase that feeling.
That is class. Have you saved many pens?
Not recently, nah.
No. But I like any big ones you can remember?
Not really, nah.
No?
Nah.
Fucking hard for a keeper, innit? A pen. See that pen.
I mean, like,
You should be scoring.
score. Like, let's be honest, every pen should be a goal.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say obviously the pressure. I think in penalty shoots a wee bit different. There's way more pressure.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you just get a penalty like the 23rd minute of a game, obviously later in the game, 90th minute to win it, pressure. But outside of that, you should score realistically. Especially as a striker.
12 yards from the goal's bloody massive.
Aye.
Like, you should score. Smash it anywhere that's not down the middle.
How do you
That's what
do?
Euro does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Man.
Just sometimes I don't think he aims. Just
Yeah, just hit it,
smash
man.
it as hard as possible.
Works obviously one against SD Raiders because to be fair, he hits the post. Have you seen it?
No, you said to me
Yeah,
about the
I saw
process.
Aye, it smashes it inside of the post. You're talking margins have been.
Yeah.
It's going perfect penalty, like
Yeah.
so close to being a belter, but obviously fucking
Aye.
Yeah.
doesn't go in.
Like,
But good pens. Good
Well,
pens.
last year I'd be standing behind it, and he'd run up and he'd be like, "Oh, it's gonna be saved."
He'd run past you.
It'd still, yeah, and it'd still go in. And you'd be like, "How?"
How would you two deal with that as a goalkeeper?
Well, we did it a bit in training.
So how do you deal
So
with
like I knew that he was just going to blast it straight in training. And there was like a couple times that it would just like smack me in the chest or off the forehead. But yeah, I guess like when you know that they're just going to go straight and hard, you just try and stay like a little bit lighter on your feet so that you can kind of like maybe make a block with your foot or get a hand down. But yeah, you kind of, it's more like defending like a reaction save than like diving. you know?
okay, aye.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. That what would you do, Chaz?
Run out the goal. Nah, probably the same. Just stay and hope that you can react. Because as you say, it does become a reaction save if you know it's just going to leather the ball.
Yeah.
You're just hoping that you can get something up in time.
Yeah.
Whatever it needs to be.
On one side, I was like just praying that it would just hit me, and then on the other hand, it was like actually I really wanted
that. That's funny. We'll go your game, Gary. Spirit 5-0 against Mountain Druitt.
Aye, obviously good result. But Mountain Druitt, look, I think they're going to struggle. We said that. Look, to be fair, we scored to make it 1-0, and then Mountain Druitt missed a big chance by a mistake, try to build up.
Was it Joey Gibbs?
Joey Gibbs, it was a great recovery tackle for Simon. And Pedrinho's good.
Yeah, do you know what? I literally wrote here from the highlights, it just looked like he was the bright spark in the
We've
Mount
got
Druitt team.
Caleb Jackson-Brown,
Yeah.
who was at Blackton a few years ago, and then he went to Hills. Now he's obviously there, but he's a good player, right? Full of energy, bit of an athlete. And then Pedrinho, and obviously Gibbs is a good player as well. But Pedrinho is a player you'd like in your team. I mean, he's like no-look passes, his deliveries are very good.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really want him shooting from distance because you can tell he's got one of those ones top bin out of nowhere. He's good, but it's just I don't know, I feel like it, same as obviously with Wolves, when you've got Olsen and you've got Lockie Scott, I feel like you've seen that at the weekend when Wolves don't have Scott's not there, they don't look anywhere near as threatening. And the same as with Mount Druitt, if Pedrinho left that squad, they'd be in fucking trouble, man. Like, cause it's like, we don't know what we're in a game, and if Pedrinho can do something, or give it to Gibbs, out of nothing and score. Because that was a big moment for them. They missed that, and then I think 5 minutes later we scored.
Scored again,
2-0. And then, to be fair, they had about a 5 or 10 minute spell at that point, still done alright, but second half was, honestly, could have been a lot more. It should have been a lot more. Honestly, it should have been 7-0 or something like that, 7 right now. It was good for us because of goal difference, because Rockdale were like, I think they were, 10 or 12 ahead of us or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that brought it down a wee bit. Because they battered Wanderers, remember, 8-0.
Yeah.
8-1 or something like that. Which is obviously big for, like, if we're currently sitting joint second with them. But, like, they weren't great Mountain Druitt, to be fair. And I think, unless, like we said this before, how competitive the league this year, they're going to have to be a lot better if they're going to stay in the league. Yeah. Unless somebody's worse than them, like Central Coast at the moment. But, I think it'll be very difficult for them to get out of that relegation battle. I mean, they might not get relegated, might stay up. I think it'll find it difficult to stay out of that.
Is it one down and then one playoff? Same as last year?
Same as last year, mate, aye.
Which is fucking rough for the MPL2 teams.
I like it. I think it's good.
I think that for us coming up the way though, it's difficult because you know that way if you're not in the conversation of the top two, your season's done. Like,
so that is crap.
For me, I'd go 2 up, 2 down, and third bottom and third top playoff.
I would do that as well.
And I also think that would bring a bit of a freshness to the teams that are currently there. Like you're going to 2, potentially 3 new places a season.
Well, what about hang me though? Right, okay, just to give it an alternative, what would just bringing playoffs back?
What's like 3?
Just bringing finals back.
But then, how would you do the movement? Just the top one go up?
Aye.
But they still involved in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a wee... I don't know. Let's work it out.
You never thought about that, but...
No, I did. I'm just not... I don't know.
I think playoffs is obviously... It's something at the end of the season that's...
Why don't you just go top, like do what Scotland does? Top goes up, and then do a playoff for 2nd to 6th, and the winner of that goes up.
Yeah, I like that.
What is it? The championship in England, it's... 1 goes up and then
2 goes up.
2 goes up from playoffs.
And then 3rd to 6th.
That'd be class.
That would be unreal.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah. That'd be a great end to the season.
Then that means we're up to the 6th place, you can still get promoted.
Yeah.
As opposed to just winning finals.
That'd be unreal.
I think the difficulty becomes the NPL2, in my opinion, the gap between, I think, the top... Or maybe this year, who's the top 6 just now?
An NPL2?
Aye.
You've got it. But I think it's Bulls, SD Raiders, Tigers, Bulls, us, Jets...
Why does it in the Lions always get missed out?
Is it done it again?
Does it print out in the Lions? That's weird. Anyway, so SD, Tigers,
Lions are 6th.
Bulls, NSW, Jets. Maybe not. I was going to say maybe sometimes the gap's too big in first, second, but there's not a ton between those teams. Because if you, for instance, like say, Dulwich Hill come up to MPL 1, maybe too big a jump, for instance. But I think Tigers, Raiders, etc. Like, especially where they're located, like SD Raiders out west. We still get a lot of players.
Yeah.
Tigers, obviously, in the Northern Beaches, we get a shit ton of players. How do you think you should go in MPL 1 where you are? And, like, if you've got, like, infrastructure and that in place to do all right, I think?
Look, I think that, obviously, with it being a university football club, there's always going to be funds available if things have to change.
Oh, we know you get a big fucking pay packet, mate.
Massive.
Always have to mention it, man.
But I do think that the club would adapt in the way that they had to adapt to be competitive. I don't think they would get promoted and not have the ambitions to keep the uni there, because they've done it with the women. The women got promoted last year or the year before. The year before they went into MPL 1.
If you get promoted this year, would you stay?
No.
Oof. Unbelievable.
Done. Body just, especially if we get promoted, we'll probably go to 3 nights a week instead of 2.
Aye.
And then it's like
killer.
That's too much, man. It's far too much.
And synthetic as well.
Nah, I'll still be involved. I'll still coach the goalkeepers and stuff, but I don't think I'd play again.
No.
If they asked me, I'd think about it, but I don't think I'd
That's a fucking easy negotiation, that. Right, okay, next, who we got?
Wolves and Blacktown, which you touched on just now.
Great finish for Jack O'Brien.
Jack O'Brien's goes a great strike. But as I said, I think Jerry McKinley does great. There was a few passages I played down that right hand side where he was heavily involved and did very well. But it's a great finish. But out with that,
big win for Blacktown. That.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was much else in the game.
Aye. Wolves unpredictable.
Yeah, I heard Wolves dominated most of it.
Yeah,
they're looking good. They got a good side, man. Obviously against us, they did well.
Aye. Mate, against you as well, brilliant. Aye. But mate, honestly, I absolutely cannot stop talking about the same people.
Lockie Scott.
Yeah, he didn't play on the weekend.
Mate, I know that's the thing, mate. That's the difference.
Is he hard to play against?
If I'm going to be honest, before the last game, I'd never struggled against him.
Right, okay.
And then for some reason, last weekend when I was marking him, I think the first couple of battles we had, Kurt blew fouls. And so in my head, I was like, I can't get too close to him because he's just blowing everything. So I was kind of in between getting too close and not and being too far away.
Yeah, of course.
And Nicky Olsen running off him as well was just he's unreal.
Well, we've got it's going forward. I think they're the most threatening. We've got obviously Ivy's pace.
Yeah.
And you've got Lockie Scott who can hold it up. He can win a challenge. He can work hard. He can win balls in the air. He can finish both sides pretty much. And then you've got Olsen who's just a proper footballer. I mean, he can do a bit of everything. They're so threatening. Beatty's good as well, centre of the park.
Yeah.
He played centre midfield against you, didn't he? Beatty, I think, played central.
I think so, yeah.
Does he not usually play it wide?
I think Alex Mascavecchio was out wide.
Yeah, Mascavecchio as well, good player. So going forward, they are really good. Defensively, they're not bad, but I don't know if they'll be good enough to challenge for the title. But I think going forward, that's deadly. Going forward, deadly. And a lot, especially on the counter attack, they're deadly, but they're unpredictable. I think that's something like the Olympic when they're good. fucking they can devastate teams.
Yeah.
Like Olympic battered Sydney United. Wolves battered Marconi.
Yeah.
And then the next week they both drop points.
Both lose, yeah.
So it's hard to predict with them.
Sydney United, big win. We touched on. It's good to see Richie Darko back playing.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Was it Paolo Michi at the post for St George in the second half?
Sparky missed a 1-on-1.
Sparky missed a 1-on-1. What about Jack Kenny's save? Did you see Jack Kenny's save?
Brilliant
1-on-1?
save.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Brilliant save.
And then Anthony Tomlich with a good finish, to be fair.
That was it.
Gives United 3 points. Vasilitsa didn't play. I don't know if he was suspended. 5 yellow cards, potentially.
He's definitely got 5 yellow cards.
And so that Vlasic played at centre back and Tomlich is a 6, but I could be wrong, but I felt from the highlights it looked like they weren't too troubled defensively.
So United, again, based off highlights, mate, I looked
fairly comfortable.
Nothing else I can really say other than highlights.
And then on to Euro teammates Rockdale, or should we call it the Blake Risciuto show from the weekend?
Well, apparently he only got 1 goal. Second one was a...
Have you told him to say this?
No, wasn't me.
Does a strand of hair count? Or
was that so? The second goal was the one that Chris whipped in, and
Chris
it looked windy as fuck.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
No, but sorry, I mean the one that actually looked like Chris just Olympico'd it straight in. And Blake's.
I think it's just come off like
the
top of his
head. Yeah,
aye,
that's it.
So I mean, do you claim that because it's his hair? I mean,
that's it.
he'll claim it.
I'll be claiming it as well. Aye,
mate. He walked into Cranbrook on Monday morning with the biggest swagger you've ever seen in your life. He just scored 2 goals.
Goal.
But it was looking at the 2 goals. The first one in particular for me, as I've seen it, he was outside. He literally, no one was anywhere near him.
Yeah.
But it looked like a practiced set piece with a movement.
No matter how much he practiced a set piece, but somebody has to pick him up. Like, see,
I remember it was anyone blocking the players?
So he started at the back post and he moved in a straight line.
What I'm saying is, did anyone block the person who's supposed to be trying to?
Yeah, Euro. There was a block from Euro.
I remember blockers.
But I mean, still, the defending wasn't
great.
But
looking at Blake, right? Blake is literally here when the ball gets put down for the corner.
I need to see it again.
And he goes in a straight line and there's no one.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
I remember him being unmarked.
So
I don't know the movement in terms of was there someone about to go and mark him and someone just blocked him and it looks like he's unmarked?
Nah.
Okay.
It literally looked like the whole time there was one Sydney FC player in between the 2 Rockdale players and he's gone with the one in front and Blake's just left by himself. Just literally walked in.
But when you guys had Spider on and he was saying the same thing, like with the A-League youth sides, it's like it's all set pieces most of the time.
Yeah.
And that's what the game came down to in the end, because I thought other than those 2 goals, I thought it was super even. And I thought, like, especially in the first half, the game had such a good kind of pace to it. There was some big challenges in the first 15 minutes. And I thought Sydney FC kind of settled on the ball for the next kind of 15 minutes, making some good like runs in behind. And it honestly looked like it could have gone either way. And then when Sydney sort of scored in the second half, I thought the young boys had just banged the door down for the last 5 or 10 minutes, but it just looks super comfortable for Rocky at the end.
Yeah.
I think since Sorgi slotted into centre back, he's done terrific, man.
He is unbelievable.
Like the 3 games that
so
Blakey and Sorgi have been in for.
So consistent.
He's so good.
Hardly copped any chances, let alone goals.
I mean, that's the thing. Seeing we played against Rockdale, I was actually laughing on the bench. We played them. They're making their subs, and it was Chris McStay, Sorge, Blake Risciuto, Bray Ovens, and somebody else. And I was just laughing at the bench, going like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like they start with every other MPL one side,
Yeah.
and they're just coming off the bench. Their depth's fucking ridiculous. I mean, don't get wrong, you boys got good depth, and so is Sydney United's got really good depth as well. And so is Apia, but. Just you looked up at Swords is now playing like Blake's a centre midfielder who's became a centre half.
Yeah.
Swords is a fullback who's became a centre half.
Yeah.
And they were on the sub bench and they're starting like I'm like fuck off.
Yeah.
So fair play to Rockdale. They're just very difficult to beat. Like they drop points here and there, but they're a hard team to beat. Unless obviously Marconi will say otherwise. But they're a tough game. I'm looking forward to seeing you. You're playing soon, aren't you? Next week.
2 weeks. Blacktown, Mount Druitt, Rockdale.
I'm looking forward to seeing you boys playing them. I try and get to watch it. That'll be a really good game. But I was obviously quietly hoping Sydney FC would have got a result considering how they done against Blacktown, and obviously the lineup's strengthened massively.
Yeah.
But we play them on Friday, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
See if we can get something off them.
So obviously that's us at the halfway kind of point of the MPL1 season.
Yep.
looking at it, do you think that it will stay pretty consistent now? Like as you said, Gary, you're looking at Central Coast Mariners. You think Mountain Druitt will struggle? Do you think anyone else might get involved in that conversation at the bottom?
No, I think Sutherland, Wanderers, Mountain Druitt, Central Coast Mariners will be the 4 teams that will be discussed. I don't think St George got dragged into it. The only thing that St George might get dragged into it is because they've got like almost no depth. I think Bay was saying they've only got like 12 first graders pretty much.
Yeah.
So if injuries, the luck stays on their side, or they can at least get to the window, I think they'll be alright. But if not, the thing is, because you look at that, you're really assuming that these bottom teams will win all their games. If St George do drop off, I can't see the bottom 4 all picking up a lot of points. Sutherland have got too many injuries. Wanderers and Central Coast are young. And usually towards the end of the season, those academy sides dip off.
Yeah.
And then Mountain Druitt, like I said, at the moment, I think Mountain Druitt could be alright, and they make it a hard game for almost everybody.
Yeah, they always lose by 1 goal.
Obviously, a couple of times they've lost by more than that, but more often than not, they're going to the wire with teams. But I just don't know if they've got the depth either.
Yeah.
And look at it's the same top end of the table with Spirit. It's a question of depth as well. Because further into the league table, last 10 games, people start getting fatigued. And then you've got, I just spoke about Rockdale's bench, Marconi's bench, Sydney United's bench. It's a factor. Yep. So you need a lot of luck with injuries. The window, if you can get to the window, you can strengthen a little bit as well. Like we've got a wee bit of depth, and obviously obviously that's why we are where we are. But throughout the table, I think in the last 10 games, it's going to come down to who has got luck on their side in terms of injuries, and then also the window could play a factor. But it's hard to get a player in the window.
I was going to say, do you think that, like, do you know if Marconi potentially are looking for any players? Well,
players were looking to go to, like Marconi obviously won the top of the league. Championship. How do they get involved?
Yeah, it's tough because all these clubs, their points are taken up. Yeah. They've got no spots. So in order for clubs to get players in, players have to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So it just depends if players leave or not, I guess.
And that's the tricky thing as well. We've got boys who are on the bench at these big clubs. I don't know how, some might not be happy. They might want to move, and do you want to move because they're going to the championship soon?
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be an interesting window to see what happens, but I think...
When is it? 4 weeks?
It's like 4 or 5 weeks,
yeah.
Round 21 or something like that.
A great time to have the window in.
End of June, yeah.
I think it's because of FIFA. It's a FIFA window, I think.
Well, yeah, A-League as well. Line up with the A-League, I think.
Oh, right, okay, aye.
Yeah.
Well, look, my opinion on it anyway is I'd honestly make the top 6, not got a fucking clue. It just looks at me bonkers. I'd be surprised if, like, Marconi and Rockdale are always going to be the conversation of top 2. I'm not going to rule out Spirit has been in that conversation. Blacktown are sitting in the same position as well. Blacktown are always there thereabouts. Then you go Apia. Oh, you can't rule out fucking Apia. Before you know, you're like, what the hell? Who's going to win it? I don't know. So it's the same as always. I think you're going to find top 7, maybe 8. Then it starts to peel off a little bit. Then you've got that middle block, and then you've got the bottom 4.
Yeah, that's
the way I see it. But I don't think you'd be mental if you can pick a winner. The way it's gone so far, everyone's beaten everybody. And even Marconi, you boys, as much as if you've been like undefeated, best defence record in the league, I think myself, really, if Rockdale had beat you that one game, they'd be top right now. If we'd beat you that one game, we'd be top right. It's a 6-point swing.
Yeah.
And like Marconi could argue like they've been close to flawless, like how well they've been. It's just a crazy league, in Sydney United, who haven't been as great, sitting in 6th place.
6 now. Yeah.
And it's fucking nuts, man. And Sydney FC, who were talking about at the start, they get relegated. Sydney FC are in amongst the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just a bonkers league. The only person who can predict a winner is 10 Quill.
You come from again, man.
The betting wrapped up, mate.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, so that's my opinion anyway. I don't have a fucking clue. I'll suggest it.
Do you boys know much about MPL Victoria? Do you know anyone playing down there?
Couple of boys, yeah.
Yeah. Seems that that's a bit mental as well this year. So we're looking at that quickly. Avondale returned to winning ways. They beat Oakley Cannons, who were sitting in 4th. Heidelberg United beat Melbourne Knights 2-1 to stay top of the league. And Port Melbourne won away at South Melbourne, seeing them swap places. So the bottom 2 in MPL Victoria just now, South Melbourne and Melbourne Knights.
South Melbourne in the bottom 2.
It's bizarre.
I wonder if the players will all stay, like obviously the championship.
Well, surely you think that they're going to go and spend a fortune in the window to make sure that they don't.
But we don't know the rules on the window.
I know, but they'll just kick players out surely and try and get players in.
But we don't know the rules.
But I mean, I'm talking about the MPL season. So because they can't stay in the relegation places. Surely,
it's very hard to completely change a squad in a one window in round 21.
What happens? Is it all just Harry Sawyer leaving the club? Is that
no
anything
idea.
that's changed them?
No idea.
Honestly, not a clue.
So we're literally just like having a look online every week, so we don't know the kind of ins and outs.
Gaffer lost his job, didn't he? What, 8 rounds ago or something?
Esteban or whatever.
Aye.
Yeah.
He lost his
So I spoke to Romero, and he was like, no one down here knows what's happening with him. Like, it was
Really?
like, we've no idea.
That's like an RPR or a Marconi or something coming bottom 2, right?
Yeah. Massive club.
Massive club, aye, huge.
Yeah. So
I think Marconi did get relegated like 10 years ago, no?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Aye.
MPL2.
And then I think the MPL2 was like Yesic.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Pav,
I played against them. I was playing MPL2 then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Aye. So that's it. But it's
Same
mad.
Kens.
Especially like you're looking at the they played Port Melbourne, who were in the relegation zone. So they've literally just swapped places.
Yeah, okay.
And Port Melbourne have now jumped them.
My bonkers. Obviously, they're going to strengthen. I imagine they've got a bit of cash behind them. So
Do you know what? I'm going to try and I'll do some homework and see if I can find out if anyone knows what's going on at South Melbourne for next week. Give myself a task. So quick run through the results. Green Gully beat Dandenong Thunder 3-1. Heidelberg beat Melbourne Knights 2-1. Hume City lost 1-0 at home to Preston Lions. I think Romero scored again. Avondale beat Oakley Cannons 3-0. Altona Magic beat Melbourne Victory 1-0. Hero scored.
Yeah.
He was in team of the week as well. Then Albion Saints lost 3-1 at home to Dandenong City. And as we said, Port Melbourne beat South Melbourne 2-0. I was going to say something. Blake Rasciuto, team of the week, 3 weeks in a row. I could be wrong, but I don't remember someone being in it 3 weeks in a row.
probably Kalach last year.
It was Stemmer.
Aye, someone tell us.
Penalty a week, yeah.
Someone tell us on it all the time.
Yeah.
Euro probably might have been. In it.
100%.
That's what I said that to Blake, and he said to me, Euro must have been.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
But just recently, this year, for saying
Jack
that,
O'Brien's had quite a few in there as well.
Aye, fair. So my argument was just shite.
No, you still might be right. You still might be right 3 in a row. Who told you 3 in a row?
I've just seen it 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Blake just threw that in there.
Well, Blake said to me, actually, it was like 3 doesn't matter. He said it'll be 4 next week.
Typical Blake.
So, just quick thank you to Insurers, one of our major sponsors, your trusted partner in all general insurance. Experts in construction and home warranty, insurance distribution through iCare. They're the go-to team for builders and homeowners needing reliable professional cover. Thank you to Insurers for leading the way and protecting what matters most in the building industry. MPL2, you both have played at Tigers, yeah? You've not?
I was Kuma Tigers in Canberra.
So Tigers, same thing, do
Both
you know what I mean? Tigers, just in here roaring your way in. So we played Tigers at the weekend, finished 1 each, they equalised in the 93rd minute.
10 men?
10 men for 70 minutes.
How was it equaliser? Like, was it a big fucking stramash in the box, or was it a good finish? Or?
Free kick. It was they get a free kick maybe 10 yards into our half. We've kind of switched off, to be honest.
Goalkeepers shouldn't switch off. You got nothing to do all game, mate.
You got to do your little exercises in between. That's what I'm talking about.
Referee, wait, let me do it. So I ball's put at the back post. They've got a Japanese boy who plays at like the left centre.
Oh, he is unreal, by the way.
Paul Tigers.
He is a baller.
Is he, aye?
The way he strikes the ball.
He's incredible.
Japanese, obviously, is class. Obviously.
Mate, so he's hit one right in the second half. So they went down to 10 men after maybe 20 minutes. The last man full.
So this guy centre half you're talking about, was like a good defender or just class technically?
He's a strong defender. He's small though. He's not a big boy.
But he can jump.
He's so strong.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But he's good in the air though.
Yeah.
Like he's powerful going up.
And he's technically good build up.
Technically, mate, he's hit a ball, right? So the strikers, they've end up playing one up top. So he's went from one centre back moving across to the other, right? And he zings this ball and he kind of came down and across it. So the ball's no higher than here. But it was a rocket, and it sent the boy through 1-on-1, and it was a poor touch, I think it was, that just came through to me. But I've literally watched this ball and had a wee laugh inside, thinking, that is outrageous. Like, mad on the ball. Really, really good centre-back.
Yeah, I was down there in pre-season, because it's the club I came out through, so and I'm local to it as well. And everyone was just saying, like, keep an eye on this Japanese player. And
yeah,
what's his name? Anyone know his name?
Don't know his name.
I can't remember.
No?
Nah, you'd be able to find it on dribble. But I
fucking 45 minutes on dribble.
dribble's the fucking worst. That is. So they get a free kick, back post, get cut back across, and get finished. So it was a bit of a chaos in the box.
Big result, a big point for them because you're 2 points off them.
I know, mate. I know.
That was massive, man.
I know, but then I always think...
Fair play to you, but you came right back in the mix because you fell out for a while.
Do you know what? We've not lost in 8 games, but we've drawn 4 of them.
Aye,
draws kill, yeah. So, but I think that it's always perspective. And for me, if we're driving to Turramurra and someone says, you're going to draw a game 1 each, would have been all right with a point. Do you know what I mean? So as much as the game panned out the way it panned out and equalised when they did, if we're actually looking at it, a point's not the worst result for us to go there and play because it's a hard place to go.
No, it is, aye.
So then SD Raiders beat Dully 4-2.
By the way, 5 points clear at the top now.
I know.
And beating, obviously, Rockdale. So that's great season so far. Aye. Nothing's done yet.
But you know what? I hope they go to like the last 8 and then they spend all their energy midweek and just fall away in the league.
Well, to be fair, that's such a very, very tight league. Because look at Jets get deducted 3 points.
3 points. And they're 3 points behind us.
Aye, it's very, very tight. Aye.
So I said to you earlier, do you know Daniel Fornito by chance?
No.
He plays at Dulwich Hill. He scored 2 goals on against SD Raiders, and they were both unreal.
Aye, he's a futsal. He plays for the futsal Roos. He's just one of those guys who strikes the ball like a futsal player. Just his shooting is a joke.
So he's the one. I used to train with him, and see if he hit a shot in training, I'd just let him score. And it was the same kind of thing as you're saying. I kind of want it to hit me, but I don't actually want it to hit me. So now if I see him get the ball, I play against him. I'm literally like...
Does he score straight goals, does he?
Nah.
He always scores rockets.
Never. So he scored twice for Dulwich Hill. And yes, he scored... Went to 2 each. Dully went 2-1 up, sorry. And then 2 each, and it finished 4-2.
That was Sega for us this year at FC, man.
Oh, is it? Eh?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Segacic, like... He gave, like, that many concussions, like... in training
just
this year.
The ball.
Yeah. And he's broken at least 3 of my fingers as well this year too. Yeah.
Just rocket.
Just like breaks the ball every time. It's
not
unreal.
For me that. Do you know what, see as a goalkeeper, seeing games, you don't think, so you don't mind it. See when you see it coming in training and you know it's going to happen.
No, so what's the point of
saving this? I'm thinking, fuck's sake, man. Like it's because you know you need to try and make the save. Yeah. But you're just like, no part of you actually wants to make the save. It's a disaster, man. Jets beat Berries 4-2. Jets went 2-0 up, came back to 2 each, and they scored 2 in the last 10 minutes. Mounties lost 2-0 at home to Bulls. Spartans beat Hills United 2-1. Bankstown City with a big result, beat Rydalmere 1-0. There was 2 red cards in that game. It must have been a fight in some way because both players got sent off in the 22nd minute, one in each team. MacArthur Rams drew 2 each with Hakoah. MacArthur equalising in the 93rd minute to salvage a point, and as I said, they've got a new coach, Timothy Aitken. Quick run through MPL3 results. South Coast Flame beat Fraser Park 6-0.
But Fraser Park, they applied to be in the championship.
Yes, they did.
About like third bottom MPL3.
You've got it there.
So I do, mate.
Ambition. It's good. I like it.
Ambition. So I sit in the pub one night after a few pints. Fuck it, apply! There's apply! Johnny, he's a phone, I'll apply. He's a phone. Oh, man. 10th in NPL3 and just try to get in.
Do they have money? A lot of money, I'm assuming?
They still have the good chicken, like Portuguese chicken there? The canteen?
Maybe.
Oh, man, it used to be unreal there.
Did it?
Oh.
They've got money. They had that. Do you remember the whole fiasco they had with they built the stadium? They got the big funding to build the stadium. They got a $2 million grant off the government. Roughly, it was a few million anyway, wasn't it? Yeah. And they got to build this new stadium. And if you go and look at Fraser Park Stadium, it's a concrete block, right, with no seats, and it's just the shittest pitch ever. There's like it's as if the mafia had buried dead bodies underneath the pitch and just bumps everywhere.
Did it get relayed? I've got a feeling it got relayed this year.
Oh, did it?
I think so. Someone said it did. But so behind the $2 million grant, and it just seems like the job never really get finished. Do you know what I mean?
The job never fucking started. The pitch, never mind the stand. Obviously, it should have been better as well. The pitch was a joke. Yeah. It floods straight away.
Yeah.
And then there's like missing seams all the way through it.
And then they end up coming in with patchwork. So like they'll say there's like a a hole here, they'll just put a new patch here. So then as soon as the rubber gets in the patch, this starts to rise. So it's literally like was different colour patches all over the pitch.
There's dead spots, so if a ball bounces, sometimes it'll bounce as normal, sometimes it'll just stop dead. Fucking
it was a disaster.
So they were a big club, massive club, NPL 1 at one point.
Huge, aye.
And then I just slowly faded away, man. Stopped selling chicken. Whole place went to shit.
Stop selling chicken. Nepean lost 4-1 at home to Dunbar.
Dunbar have been doing alright, you know?
Aye, but they're sitting 6, I think. They've not lost in 7 games.
Fucking hell.
That's decent.
That is decent.
Camden Tigers lost 2-1 at home to Gladesville Ride Magic. Inner West Hawks beat Sydney Uni 3-2. They're getting closer, I'm telling you. They're getting closer. This Sydney Uni haven't won a game. So I'm kind of on the Sydney Uni bandwagon. I think it's coming because the results are getting closer and closer. Do you know what I mean?
think they're pish.
Gary just takes the piss out of them every week, you see.
No, I didn't take the piss every week. I just said at the start of the season they won't do well.
Yeah, you did.
And everyone said they will do well, and they've lost every single game since.
Yeah. Hurstville beat Granville Rage 4-2. 2 of the goals coming from the penalty spot.
Hurstville winning, aren't they?
Yeah, they're winning the comp. I think they're 6 points clear.
Yeah,
Prospect. Okay. And Prospect lost 3-1 to Bankstown United at the weekend. So just increases that gap. What are you laughing at?
Just laughing at Prospect, did man?
I know.
Predictions.
So we'll go on to that now. I think that's the last one. That's the last game we've got to talk about. So obviously every week we do predictions, right?
Yeah.
And we will always say last week none of the guests have got more than 7 and neither of us had got more than 9. 9 was the top. So last week Gary got 10. 10 from 11 games because Parramatta was washed out, and the one that done him was Prospect away at Bankstown United.
Bastards. Second top of the league, lost.
That would have been unreal, but see if we get 12 predictions
NPL,
right.
Mate, if you put that as genuinely on a bet,
like
the odds, because the odds are fucking wild, man.
Make
Odds
a fortune, man.
Oh, aye. Brilliant. Give the big man a phone after this.
10 call.
Okay, before we get stuck into the careers and that, we'd like to ask the players about the match day prep. So we'll start with you, Lockie. Match day prep, what does it look like for you?
Let's say home game, Saturday night.
Yep.
7 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Probably wake up like 9:30. And just standard eggs on toast, avocado.
Everyone fucking has eggs on toast and avocado.
And then I'll probably go for a walk, get a coffee, come back, pasta. I'd be chucking like a Premier League game or a Champions League game, just stretching, and then from there, go to Chewy's because I carpool with Chewy, to Jake Drew to Marconi, go to his, chill out for like half an hour, and then we just head to the game.
So would you say you have pre-match for food?
Pasta, eggs and toast and pasta, yeah.
And that's it, just eggs and toast and pasta?
Yeah.
Aye.
Maybe like a yogurt and berries in between. But
How long before you play do you eat?
Probably have it around 3:30 normally, so what's that?
3.5 hours.
3.5. We got to travel an hour, so I wouldn't usually have it a bit later than that, but
And where do you live?
in Coogee.
In Coogee?
Yeah.
And post-match, they used to have food at Marconi?
Yeah, they put on a nice function for us, which is
class.
good. Yeah, in the clubhouse, so.
Nice.
Pasta, chicken, all that pizza, all that, so.
Class.
Can't complain.
What about you, big man?
Match day, I'm a super early riser. So I'll probably be up at like 6:30, go for a walk, then have my eggs on toast.
With avocado?
Yeah. No coffee on match day. Like I like to save that. I like to save my caffeine for before the game.
Yep.
And I have my yerba, like the mate.
Yeah.
But like I get really bad indigestion. Like I can't eat within 3 hours of the warm up. So I think 4 hours is pretty good for me. And it took me like at least 10 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like I've done a tacky in front of 10,000 people on the side of the pitch before.
Oh, have you had?
Yeah. Wow. I struggled so much with it.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like I have a good routine now.
And what do you have 4 hours before?
Just try and have something light, like some oats. Like basically, oats is already digested. You know what I mean? It's like you just chuck it in you, and it just goes straight through. So I feel like that works for me. If I ever deviate from that, like if I have anything like pasta or chicken, no, I just as soon as I go out for the warm up, I just feel it. and it's horrendous feeling, like trying to get moving, you just feel like absolute shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try and have a nap. If I can't sleep, like I'll just put like eye mask on, pitch black, earplugs in, like complete silence, and I'll just try and like zone out for like 30 minutes or so. I think that's probably the most important part of my day.
Yeah.
Before a game.
Just to feel a wee bit rested.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, like I think I'm like a pretty active mind, like maybe like some people would say an overthinker.
Yeah.
So in the past, yeah, again, I've just been sitting there all day, just like thinking about the game, thinking about different situations that could happen, and I just don't feel like that helps.
Yeah, fair.
What about your eye masks? Have you tried the Mantra eye masks?
No.
Highly recommend.
All right.
Unbelievable. I'll show you after the
okay.
Next level. They've got like a few different ones, but next level.
Okay.
We've got it depends what you're into, but highly recommend. Anyone listen. Tremendous.
Mantra eye mask.
Unbelievable. If you're like you're like wearing one, or you need darkness, it's a blackout eye mask, but you can get some sound ones. You can get some mad shit for it, but a lot of high performance people use them. They're fucking the best I've found. Brilliant.
Right.
There you go.
You know what's interesting, because I'm quite similar on game day, but I eat now 5 hours before a game.
Everyone's different. Game day is very much like, as I always say, even from a performance standpoint, like the days leading into game day, from outfield player anyway, you need to get right, especially carbohydrate wise. But game day, very difficult to say you need to do this or that, because obviously there's some things you still want to get some carbs and that in you. But like you said, some people get indigestion, some people have got like, fucks with their mind. You fuck my routine up. But you can't mess with that, because if you risk versus reward, like, do you want to risk them losing their nut because you've gave them an extra meal?
I don't need.
They don't want psychologically. It's stupid. So, it's interesting. Everyone's got I think it's good to know it, because what do you have? What's your game day?
I'll have plain pasta with some chicken.
But no sauce, just pasta and chicken.
Just pasta and chicken.
You're just a fucking serial killer.
Pasta and chicken. Have a wee bit of olive oil in the pasta.
Oh, that's right. You didn't say that. You just said...
Sorry, but like 5 hours, and then I'll have a nap after. So I'll eat, and then I'll go and lie down for an hour. And like I'm kind of, if I can't sleep, I'll just lie and read. But again, it just kind of.
What about post match? What do you say? Oh, you Marconi. What did you do at Sydney FC for post match?
Like for food, depends like where we are. Like if we're at home, we have this Brazilian kind of, like they're kind of like sandwiches. But I feel like not a lot of the boys take them.
You do, but
I take like 10 of them. Like my freezer is stocked. No, I think they're class, and they also have like falafel wraps as well, which are really good too. And then when we're away, I mean, I feel like, especially because we're in the Champions League as well this year, we're playing like multiple times a week. You know, sometimes I think we're playing like 5 games in 15 days. At some points, they just want you to get as many calories in as possible, and so like they give you the good stuff like after the game, like and you just feel like eating it. And I mean, after games, I have a lot of friends and family that come to watch. So if I'm at home, I like to go out and eat with them afterwards. I feel like that's just like a nice decompression.
It's big in rugby. A few, I can't say every team, but a lot of teams in NRL, what they'll do is they'll force the team to go out for dinner as a squad. And because usually if you're at a dinner table, naturally there's loads of jugs of water on the table. Obviously you're starting to rehydrate socially, even if you've lost, a bit of banter, and it works wonders. Yeah,
I heard of an SNC saying like he liked it when the boys went out after a game, because when they were on the dance floor, they were like squeezing all the lactic acid out of there.
He's definitely on the dance floor with it. Really good for you, this, boys. Recommend that.
But I struggle to sleep after games.
And most players do.
Like I'll be up until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I'm an early riser, so I'll be up at 6:30 regardless. So eye mask or no eye mask, it's like just body clock.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the games where there's a lot going on. Like I can come out of games like say the weekend's game where Southern, not much went on. It was a pretty just back and forth game. But if we got a game like against Rockdale where like a lot's going on, like I'm sliding in everywhere, like little scuffles everywhere after, I'm like a lot more pumped up and a lot more going through my brain. So I think the sleep just depends on how the game goes, honestly.
Ceiling patrol.
Yeah.
Oh, I know a few of my mates who played professionally, and they said like, so he played in the championship, and they said after the game, by the time he got back on the team bus, they would have their clips sent to an iPad. They all had an iPad and the clips were sent to their iPad. So he said on the team bus,
fuck that.
He just straight away had to go back and look at his clips.
Oh, not for me.
So he said then time it's just 4 a.m, just thinking about the game.
No, but I think sometimes it's better, honestly.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
Yeah, I go home, it's busy, but some nights when I just go home after the game, I'll literally put the game on again, watch it over so I see everything from a different perspective, then just go to sleep.
That's he said he has to do that, otherwise he can't.
Yeah.
See, I like to finish and it's finished.
So Nizic said that at half time against us. Remember he missed, I said that free kick, Jordan Perez with the free kick. I said, should you have saved it? And he says, I should have probably saved it. He goes, but the goalkeeper goes at half time, came out the iPad, showed me it. He goes, as soon as I seen it, I went, okay, cool, put it to bed.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen it and I knew it had happened. That was it.
I think a lot of the time you think it happened a certain way and maybe you take responsibility for it, but then you watch it back and it's like, oh, well, actually that was
it was that bastard.
100%, man. Right, question for you boys as well. Your favourite movie of all time and what you'd eat whilst watching it?
I can go straight away. My favourite movie is, I've got 2 favourite movies actually. Surf's Up.
Right.
Like the cartoon.
The cartoon.
And I mean, it's pretty basic, but Pulp Fiction as well.
Amazing. And I love Tarantino in general. So
love Tarantino. And I'm probably eating like a
Brazilian
pizza
sandwich.
like a high quality pizza. I think.
What's your pizza of choice?
Yeah, I'd get like a spicy salami, like a spicy pepperoni with, and they never do it here in Australia, but gorgonzola.
Nice.
So you have to ask to add it on, and a lot of pizza shops here they don't have it, but just the blue cheese and the spicy. It's just
where do you get? Where's the pizza place you go to and where you're from? Are you Northern Beaches?
Like Chatswood area.
Okay.
There's Via Napoli.
Nice.
Which is really nice. It's in Lane Cove.
Yeah.
Or there's like one that I've been going to since I was a kid. It's just like a family-owned one.
They're
in
usually the
Narrabeen.
best, but the family ones are usually the best.
Yeah, they're good.
Aye. Class, what were you, mate?
I'd probably say The Gentleman.
Good
Matthew
film.
Marconi.
Yeah, it's good actually.
I think I probably watched it like 3 or 4 times at the movies. So
That's class. You went to the cinema 4 times to watch it?
well, I work.
Okay.
I work at the head office for a cinema, so I get free tickets.
Okay.
Brilliant, by the way. On the full grip for me. I need to go to the cinema.
Everyone always says, "You get tickets." I'm like, yeah, but you have to take me with you.
Brilliant. What would you eat?
Oh. What would I eat?
Protein shake.
By the way, fuck me, the cinema's expensive.
It's so expensive.
It is fucking, it's paying your wages, son. It's ridiculously overpriced, man.
I agree.
Because I love the cinema. I absolutely love it. I've always loved it since I was young. But let's be honest, you can fucking watch anything you want nowadays between fucking Fire Sticks and IPTV and all that, and you're like, I really want to go. You're like, fucking, is it $32 or something?
It's like $60 before you've kicked the ball.
It's fucking nuts. And the food's comical.
Aye.
Okay, shaft me for the movie. I'm in. Right, bottle of water, $9. What? Fuck's sake. Sitting drinking toilet water. Popcorn, we'll give you a deal, mate. Large popcorn and water, $17. What? How's that a fucking deal? Mental. You're laughing, you're loving it.
I don't know how much I can say. My boss will probably watch this.
So what did you eat, sorry?
At the movies, maybe just like Maltesers. Maltesers and popcorn, probably. Just a standard.
That's been used a few times.
Maltesers
and popcorn.
It's interesting.
Maltesers over like pods.
He's a pods man as well.
Snickers pods all day long.
Man.
All day.
I don't know. Last year, when Nico Ida, he's playing in Scotland now in the championship for Queen's Park.
Aye.
Yeah. He we used to go to the movies every week. So every Thursday would be like Thursday night training off. We'd go to the movies, and we used to get like so much. It'd be like a bag of lollies, a block of chocolate, and popcorn all each, and we just sit there. And by the end of the movie, finished it. But we get to the end of it, and we're like, we got to stop doing this.
I got my move to the championship in Scotland.
What about you're talking about The Gentleman? Have you seen? I was saying to Chaz off air. Have you seen Mobland with Tom Hardy and Pierce Brosnan?
No,
highly recommend.
Yeah.
You've watched if you like it, Guy Ritchie directs it. It's a 8-part episode. It's like there's one called Kin. It's an Irish one. There's Gentleman, probably as a movie version of it, but it's about gangsters, Irish gangsters and British gangsters. Highly recommend. You'll smash it.
Mobland.
Mobland's or Mobland, but Tom Hardy and Pierce Brosnan. Brilliant. 10 out of 10. There you go. Movie recommendation for the week.
Right, gents, while we're here talking about you two, Lockie, we'll start with you, mate. How did your footballing journey begin?
Northern Tigers, wasn't it?
The Kuma versions.
Where do we start? Like
Whatever you want, mate.
Under threes.
under threes. I actually grew up in central Queensland, a town called Rockhampton.
Right.
Rockhampton, is that not a band in Triple J? I always hear them Rockhampton, it's like rappers.
Not too sure.
I think they're from Rockhampton, that's probably why I called it.
Maybe. Yeah.
There you go.
It's like sort of, near Cairns, Townsville, near
Nice,
there.
yeah.
And then when I was around 12, moved to the Gold Coast. My family actually moved to the Gold Coast so I could play
Oh, wow.
football. Gold Coast, I think it was called Gold Coast United then. It was like the JPL Junior Premier League.
So, sorry, go back to in Northampton. Is it like a smallish town? Rockhampton, sorry. Northampton. Smallish kind of town?
Yeah, very small. Very
Right, okay.
small. You don't want to live there.
Right, okay.
No.
So there's not much football-wise there?
No, not at all.
Right, okay.
Decent music, but...
And then, Gold Coast. And then I started playing in Brisbane, so at Brisbane City for about 4 or 5 years. And then my last year there was Brisbane Olympic. But then from there, my brother made the last FFA COE, so the AS Centre of Excellence side, before they stopped that running. So we moved to Canberra. I lived in Canberra for a couple of years playing for the Canberra United Academy because they were in the first grade then.
Mm-hmm.
Played there a couple of years and ended up just staying. My family moved back because my parents hated the cold.
Yeah.
I moved back. And
Man, Rockhampton must be shit. If you stay in Canberra.
So I moved back to Gold Coast. And I just stayed in Canberra. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I just chilling there. And ended up staying there for 5-6 years.
Oh, yourself?
Just myself, just chilling. Working at the movies. I was actually working at the movies at that time. And just ended up playing for Gungahlin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what I mean.
Yep.
That's a big club, isn't it?
Was a big club.
Aye.
I don't know if it still is, but
It was. We spoke to a guy. Remember, that's the guy. Gungahlon's the one that we spoke to.
What were we talking about?
Tours.
Yeah, tours.
it was a very well-run club at that time.
The guy seemed pretty switched on when we spoke to him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played there for 3 or 4 years. One of the seasons I was there, the start of the season, I think it was a random Friday afternoon. I had a nap, woke up. They were like, "Oh, Gungahlin on the Facebook, Gungahlin -3 points for something." So we started the season on -3 points. First round we had a bye, and then lost the second round.
Oh no.
2 games in, you're 9 points behind.
Yeah.
That's a disaster, man.
And we ended up winning
Oh, class.
that year, which was 2019, which is a pretty big year. Played there 1 more year, then moved to Kuma Tigers.
Yeah.
And in all of this, it was NPL season and then NYL season at the end with Canberra United. Because Canberra United were in it for 3 years.
Right, okay, yeah.
So was this around COVID time?
Just before
COVID.
COVID,
okay.
yeah. So I was playing football all year round,
Brilliant.
which was fun. I mean, NYL was good, travelling everywhere. We won 1 game in 3 seasons. That was against Mariners at their ground.
One's better than none.
That's it. I think our first ever game in the NYL was at Marconi against Wanderers, and we lost 8-0.
So see, obviously were you playing in the men's team at Gungahlin?
Yes.
At this point, yeah. So you're playing there and obviously going and playing the NYL teams. Did you find a huge difference with the youth teams?
Yeah, definitely. Just the pace of the youth league at that time was so much faster than the MPL in Canberra. It was a different experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed playing all year round. It was fun. Just travelling, buses to Sydney, buses to Newcastle, because at that stage it was conferences.
Right, okay.
They weren't versing Brisbane Roar, Perth, or anything like that. It was just the Sydney teams and then Newcastle. And then so finished up at Gungahlin, went to Kuma Tigers.
Yeah.
Tigers,
I'm on the
boys.
Tigers.
And again, another good season. Like I had a good season personally. Made the round of 32, and that was the season. That was the COVID season.
Yeah.
Well, not the short season, but the season where it got binned after like 20 rounds.
Yeah, okay.
So we made round of 32. We won. They actually gave us the premiership that season. So, you know, in Sydney and Melbourne, they stripped the winners.
Yeah.
They gave the premiership to us, which was...
How many games in was that?
I think it was like 17 games in of 21 or something like that.
Oh, fair play, aye.
I think we were 5 or 6 points ahead with like a game in hand or something.
Yeah, okay.
So that was good. And then obviously we were versing Harper in the round of 32. And I didn't get to play that because I got COVID when it was fairly big as well. So like I just was locked in my room for 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I like watched the game, then versing Harper on whatever it was on. And that was a good game actually. It was 0 like full time. Keeper had an absolute worldie.
Oh, really?
And I think Sean Simmons and stuff just scored an extra time.
What's the final score?
Final score 2-0, I think.
2-0. Oh, okay.
So yeah.
That's not bad.
It wasn't bad. No.
So how did you go from playing there to...
So during this time when I had COVID actually, at the end of the season, someone was speaking to me, someone I know pretty well, and he's like, what are you doing like playing in Canberra? Like, why don't you try and get out of here? And just joking around, I said, all right, do something, get me out of here then. And he's like, all right, send me a highlights video. And so I just sent him a highlights video, and the next day he's called me and he's like, oh, Rockdale interested in you.
Did you know who Rockdale were?
I knew of them, but I didn't know too much about MPL New South Wales.
Chavapi?
Chavapi, yeah. And then, whilst I was in lockdown, Steve Zorich was the coach at the time.
Yeah.
Gaz, the assistant, was there as well. Dennis, obviously, is still there. All three of them called me the next day. And
fucking some highlight video, this.
Must have been, honestly. Must have been. And yeah, all that happened in like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and before I knew it, I was moving to Sydney once lockdown and finished. And 3 years at Rockdale. Loved it. It was a really good environment to be around.
Successful time, obviously, as well.
Yeah. I think first year was like 5th or 6th. I think we missed out on finals on goal difference. And then the second year came second. I think RP won it that year. But then obviously last year was a really good year.
So obviously, let's look at the off the pitch stuff here.
Yeah.
It's a big decision for you to leave Canberra and obviously move to Sydney.
Yeah.
How did you find that side of it?
I think it's always difficult at the start of things. I didn't have a job lined up in Sydney yet, so someone from Rockdale gave me a job at a warehouse in Torella. And I was literally just making commercial hose reels all day. So just stand there, put hose reels together and pass them on. That was from 6 a.m. till 2:30 or something. And so I was getting home from training at like 10:30, waking up at 5, which I know a lot of the boys do these days. But that was tough. Yeah. And then obviously I had no mates at Rockdale. No mates in general. Yeah. At Rockdale, so didn't know anyone too well. But then everything started clicking. Like I was like, I don't know how much longer I can do this warehouse job for.
Yeah.
And then that's when, so I worked at the cinemas in Canberra. And then when I moved to Sydney after a month, the national operations manager called me or messaged me, and she's like, "Are you looking for a job? We got a job open at head office." The office.
No,
job.
I'm really enjoying this warehouse job.
I love making hose reels all day. And I was like, "Yes, please." So like 1 more week at the warehouse, finished up, and then that's when everything started clicking. Like I started really settling in at Rockdale, found a good apartment. Funny story, actually, Rockdale found an apartment for me, a house for me just down the road from Rockdale. Right. And I was buzzing. I was like, this is going to be so good. Moving with some of the lads from the team, drive from Canberra to Sydney, pull up at this house. Someone greets me there, walk inside, and it's like 5 75-year-old, just old European men living there. And I was like, oh no. I was like, what have I gotten myself into? I was like, no wonder the rent was so cheap. No wonder they're paying for it. Oh mate!
Hold on, so you're going to do a house share with 5 75-year-old men?
Oh mate, it was an experience, that's for sure.
How long did you have to put up with that for?
Honestly, it was like
pre-match mushy peas.
How long were you there?
I think I still laugh about it. I think I was there for 2 weeks, and then.
So you stayed there for 2 weeks with these old guys?
Yeah. No, it might have been longer, but then I started having like problems post-COVID. My post-COVID for me, like dizziness and stuff on the field. So went back to Canberra to help out for like a couple of weeks a month. Came back and I was still there. I hadn't moved out yet. And I think it was like a week or two. I'm like, nah, Dad, I can't do this. Dad's like spending all of his days looking for apartments. around Sydney.
Hold on, there's a skipping over this far too quickly. So these 75-year-old men, like, talk to me like a day in the life of in this house. So you wake up, what are these guys up to? What are they doing?
Oh, it was. They were all on their own levels. Like there were even people that I'd never met that I met when I was leaving. Like this guy just walked out of his room and goes, mate, you'll be happy you're leaving, mate. Trust me. Some of the things
I've been here for 32 years. Hold on, was that like a big house and you've all got a room each? And shared living room, shared kitchen?
Yeah. Older house. Like, if you saw it, you'd be like...
so what did you do? Like, say you wanted to watch the TV in the living room. Was any guys kicking about?
I don't even know if it was a living room. I don't think it's a living room. I'd watch it in my room. Yeah.
What about kitchen though?
Oh, there's a kitchen. I was upstairs. But
were they kicking about at the same time?
No, it was all very just you're on your own type of thing.
So how often did you speak to these guys?
Not often. I'd either be in my room at home or like at training or at work. It'd be like a wear your slides in the shower type of thing at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And like I'd get home some nights from a night out at like 2 a.m. and there's just some old dude sitting inside the front door on a chair, just smoking, waiting for someone. I did hear later on that there was some business going on, but yeah, it was
trying to sell you, mate, in the black market. For this young boy here.
That's wild, man.
There was one night I left my keys inside, and I got home from training. This was just down the road from London. And my room was at the front of the house, so I could like kind of climb up, but it was difficult. And so I didn't have a key. Anyway, I've started climbing up to get to my room, and this guy who sits at the front door just walked out and looked up at me. And I'm like, oh, mate, like I've just lost my key. Can you help me out? To be fair, he was good about it when he got me a key, like let me use it and stuff, but mate, I couldn't have gotten out of there quicker, honestly. That day that came, I was like...
Mate, that is... Well, imagine your contract will get you a house. Oh, magic. What a contract.
Going to be living with the boys.
They still use that story, honestly. I think Dennis and stuff did not know that... Well, they say they didn't know, but...
They knew.
They use that story these days when people ask for like a place or something. They always bring up that story.
So what, hold on, did you go back to Rockdale and say like, what the fuck's happening here, lads? You've just stitched me up?
I don't know. I was sort of like, what's going on? I was like, I know you're helping me out with rent and stuff, but I think I'd rather pay my own rent at the moment. But yeah, no, it turned out all right. Like once I moved out of there, once I got my office job, once I started settling in, like and playing football during the season, it all kind of just came together at once, which was really good. I just had to get past that at first. So
that's class, man.
And I was buzzing, like moving to Sydney, like the 3-hour drive. I was like, let's go. Got to the house. I'm like,
oh my God. I think that's amazing, that story.
That's funny.
I can imagine being buzzing, thinking, gas, moving out myself, out with the boys, big house together.
Yeah.
Lads.
You walk in.
Oh man, that's rough as toast.
So looking at obviously this year, you've left Rockdale.
Yep.
Before you skip that one, talk about Rockdale quickly. Who was your close mates in Rockdale?
Two closest. Well, when H was there, it was H, but Cordier.
Yep.
Danzo.
Yep.
It was everyone was pretty close though. It wasn't one of those ones.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like everyone was like just. I could have taken any one of the boys for coffee and it would have been like normal.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, Danzo, Cords. It was close of Euro, Sorgi, Blakey. The boys are there for like over 2 years. So
yeah, class.
Okay. So, and in terms of, as Chaz was saying, moving on from Rockdale to...
and Bay. I can't forget Bay, sorry. He would have killed me.
He'll fucking message me later anyway. So moving to Rockdale, what made you leave Rockdale after such a successful season?
It's a bit of a weird one, actually. So a week before the grand final, Dennis messaged a couple of us boys and said, can we like negotiate contracts now? And so we sort of went back to him and we're just like...
I'll give you a house. No, I'm off. I'm with Marconi.
That's why I left. And we were just like, can we negotiate after the grand final? He's like, sure, no problem. So grand final came around. After that, negotiated contracts, like pay rise. that was good, all good. They were happy with it. They sent it through to me, and then a couple of days later, I hadn't signed it yet. A couple of days later, I went to Europe, and I was pretty busy in Europe, but I just didn't.
Busy doing what?
Just
tell them about Bordeaux, bro.
Yes.
What happened in Bordeaux?
Bordeaux was fun. It was a good experience.
Come on, gives a wee sneak peek.
Oh, actually,
He fell in love.
No, I wouldn't go that far. But so there was one night I was with, you know, Loic Puyol. He played at Rockdale for
I don't know.
Played League 1, A League. But I knew him well from Rockdale, and I'd hang out with him a bit. So when I went to Bordeaux, I stayed with him there.
What's his name? Sorry,
Loic Puyol.
No, I don't know.
No. And so I was staying with him, and the first night I got there, we went out, like we were going to heaps of bars and stuff. On our way home, one of the girls we were with were like, "Oh, like I can get a massive line in this club." And she goes, "No, don't worry about it. Walk to the front. The bouncers open us up. Just walk straight on in." Walk down to this place. It's so nice, like just packed, people everywhere. Anyway, we're down there for probably about 10 minutes. I'm like dancing, trying to dance. Looking around, and I make eye contact with this one girl. Eye contact, that's all. And Locke's like, all right, where to go? We're to leave. So we left. The next morning I woke up on Instagram. I had a follow request from like this French name.
Maybe you should see your highlights video reel.
And I accepted it, followed it back, and in French, she wrote, "Were you the guy from the club last night?"
What?
Yeah. And I was like, and Loic was like, what?
How did she find you?
So in Bordeaux, Loic's wife is a pretty big influencer, so most people know who she is. And so this girl's friend knew that was Loic. And so I was on his story as well.
Oh, okay.
And so she somehow found me, messaged me, and invited me over for a movie and wine night. She spoke only French. I spoke only English. So it was definitely an experience, that's for sure.
So how did you communicate?
Well, I said hello. How you going? She showed me around the apartment. Well, I honestly thought it'd be so weird, like such a weird experience. For some reason, it was very, very normal. You've had a similar experience in Brazil.
I haven't had no experience.
But yeah, it was a very normal experience.
So the whole time, obviously, how you communicating? No, genuinely, obviously, banter aside, apart from shagging, how you communicating?
None of that.
But how you communicating? If she's speaking French, you're speaking English, what you doing?
Google Translate.
Okay.
We were just laying there watching a movie, and like if she wanted to say something,
Google Translate, I felt it.
Yeah. And like it sounds like it'd be so weird, but honestly, it was.
You are in love, mate.
What's that?
I'm good at
love. Convince us it's no weird.
That's it, man.
No. Yeah,
when is she coming out?
She's 76. One of the boys from Rockdale set me up. Oh, mate. Class. So anyway, going from back to football.
Back to football, please.
Back to football. So Rockdale, moving on from Rockdale to Marconi. So what happened from the contract situation?
Yeah, so I hadn't signed it yet. So I was overseas for a month, and I've gone back from Europe. And a couple of days in, Deez has messaged me, and he's gone, "Hey mate, are you back from Europe?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah, sorry mate, been really busy. I'll sign that contract right now." And 5-10 minutes went by, and I literally replied to him straight away. So if you wanted to, you could have just replied to my message straight away again, saying thanks mate. But 10 minutes later, it's like Paul D calling you, and I was like, "Oh no." I've answered, and he's done, like, you know when the coaches start with like, "Oh, how you going? How was Europe?" Like, you know it's leading to something. I was like, "Mate, we're in off season. You can't bench me this weekend. Like, what could you possibly be calling about?" And he's like, "Oh, like with the second tier news today and stuff, we need like 5 juniors, and like if you want game time, I suggest like finding a different club." And I was like, it was a shock. Like, honestly, I was like, "What are you saying?" And then he's like, "Mate, like, we need like juniors, and unfortunately, the centre back is a position with all the Macedonians, unfortunately, which is like Nikolovsky, Karamalevsky, and there's like 2 other Macedonian centre backs there." And I was sort of like, at that point, I had never thought of going to any other club whilst I was in the MPL New South Wales.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of finished up that phone call, and I'm just like, thanks for everything, mate. Like that's fine from there. I'll sort it out from here. And so obviously I help out Flea and been close with Flea for a couple of years now, like working in his canteen over the weekend. And the next day, I think I was just speaking to him about work or something. And I was like, oh, also Rockdale binned me as well. He goes, what? He goes, no way. And anyway, 5 minutes later, he's like, oh, I'll bring the contract tomorrow.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So he said that to me, and I've gotten up and I'm walking back to mine. So I'm walking past Coogee Oval there.
Yeah.
And Truey's on the oval at the time. And I knew Truey from like a couple like mutual friends, dinners and stuff. And I walked over to him. He goes, oh, I've signed with Marconi as well.
Yeah.
And I was worried about like traveling distance, like hour and stuff. And he goes, we can just carpool. So like from 5 minutes from talking to Flea,
being devastated,
walking to my apartment, which is just there. Truey was in between and said, oh, we can carpool together. And then in my mind, I was sort of like,
comfortable. That's good, man.
Yeah.
It's mad how things like that happen though, because you go from being like devastated in this phone call one day, the next day having a normal conversation that leads to something else, and then all of a sudden everything just seems to kind of be like, oh, this is all right. Yeah,
it was honestly the best thing for me because, I mean, I had been at Rockdale the whole time I was in Sydney, and by the second, third year, you get comfortable, man. Like, you haven't really got anything to prove to anyone inside the team. So you go to training. I'd work hard in training, but if you made a mistake, it wasn't like, oh no, what are they going to think? It's just like,
it's all right.
Next one. Whereas at Marconi, like that change, you'd come in and it'd be like, every single pass, every single touch has to be on here. Like, I need to prove myself.
Yeah, that's good as well. Probably good for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying it so far?
Oh, loving it. Yeah. The facilities, everything, just like.
You said it's so much better in Rockdale in every way, didn't you?
That was horrible, man. His face just dropped.
Genuine question, all right? Obviously not going to stitch up Marconi. I'm just going to stitch up you, but not Marconi or Rockdale. What is the differences do you find between both? Like culture, training, coaching staff, players? Not necessarily
good or bad.
What do you find different?
So obviously, like looking at it from the outside, right? The style of football straight away is very different between the two.
Yeah.
So like besides that, like is there other things that you just, as you said, not good or bad, just different?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the same. It's a very similar environment. Like the change rooms are very good. Both change rooms just banter everywhere.
Who's the best banter on Marconi?
The main ones. Dom.
Fuck, it must be stinking banter.
Dom, Anton. Who else is there? Troy gets around it. Jimmy Hilton.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All the boys are good. Yeah. No, but yeah, it's a similar environment. Both clubs, both teams are just always thinking about winning. Just everything must win at all costs. There's honestly not too much that stands out, other than like just what they have for you, like how they prepare. Like at Marconi, our training kits are washed, sitting on our lockers, ready for when we arrive. Whereas at Rockdale, it'll be like you gotta wash your own kit, stuff like that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Wash your own gear?
Oh, training gear, yeah.
Oh, training gear, okay.
Yeah. Whereas, but Marconi, like training gear laid out for you.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Like,
we spoke, the boys. I'm pretty sure the boys wash their own gear as well.
Yeah, honestly, it's a game changer. I love it.
It's funny you say that. So obviously, I've been at Rydomere. Rydomere have got great facilities for our players. We built new locker rooms. Everyone's got their own stuff.
Locker rooms.
Really? Totally awesome, dude. And then, but they give us towels and stuff after training, etc. So then I went Sydney United for 3 weeks. Literally was so shocked. So I thought we get spoiled at Rydomere having towels, and it was the same as you're saying. You go in and everything's just done. Literally just leave what you want there. You come back the next day, new training gear. Like for all weathers, you've got trousers, you've got shorts, jump. Like it was outrageous. I'm saying this is fucking class.
Aye.
Yeah. Another main difference would probably be, which is an outside factor, but the fans as well. The two completely opposite types of fans. Like obviously at Rockdale, you got the boys that love it, like flares, everything.
Yeah,
they were honestly, being in that team, it was good to have them on your side. Obviously, some of the things they say, you're like, why? Are you
to be fair, we played them like this. They were shouting and stuff, but I thought it was hilarious. Some of the stuff they said was funny. Some of the banter was brilliant. I would rather hear that and cop it. Because I get a wee bit of shit sometimes because of the podcast. I think it's fucking brilliant. I would rather that, like, if I was a player, get something shouted than just silence.
Yeah,
it's well better.
But even like moving to Marconi, they've been good for me. like even in our games at home when we were versing this year, I'd be like, Lockie, swap with Anton, because I was on their closest side. Like, swap with Anton. They love Anton. But yeah, it's different. Like at Marconi, it's more Tom and Carol, like older.
Tom and Carol.
Is that the people you stayed with?
Tom and Carol, like older couple, but like every game they're at.
Oh, they're
20s,
like
first grade. Like those type of fans, the loyal fans that will be at every game no matter what. Probably not with flares and stuff, but
raining boys.
But they will be there, yeah. But yeah, no, it's both very good change rooms to be in, honestly. I enjoy both, yeah.
Good, mate.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Cool. We'll crack on to Harrison's.
Yes, the Wizard of Oz. So, mate, take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, I was always going to play football. My mum's side of the family are South American. Her father was born in Italy, migrated to Uruguay, and then brought the whole family over to Australia in the 70s. And my dad's side of the family are Aussie, and actually like sort of rugby union kind of family. And I remember at some point when I was like 10 or 11, I just asked if I could play like one rugby game just to see what it was like. And like my mum would just shut it down straight away. It was like, yeah, I was never allowed to play anything other than football really. And I just loved it, like obsessed. Like I would come home from school every day and just watch hours and hours of video.
We are in your head an outfield player at this point.
Yeah, I was a striker, number 9.
Goalkeeper was a number 9 at some point.
And I came into goalkeeping pretty late. I specifically remember being 15 and I wanted to be a pro. That's like all I wanted to do it for a living. And I just knew that it wasn't going to happen as an outfield player. And I remember sitting down with myself and saying like, you know, every time you're in goal in training, like, you know, you do well and people always asking you to be in goal, like it comes naturally. Like I just felt like to take my game to the next level, I'm playing park football just to make reps. That's all I wanted to do. And then obviously I just saw a pathway to be pro. I don't know how.
So you were playing park football as
park
a striker
football,
at this
at 14, and then under 15.
Hold on, so you're a striker at under 14s?
Yeah.
That's fucking brilliant.
Under 15s, I trialled for Gladesville Ride Magic. Well, I trialled for Apia first, and I'd never played goalkeeper before, and I literally got laughed out of the training session. Like the other goalkeepers were taking the piss out of me. Yeah, and obviously like really upset me, but at the same time I was like, okay, like, you know, there's obviously some stepping stones that you need to take. I think I lasted 20 minutes and the coach just tapped me on the shoulder and he was like, yeah, it's not for you. So I went from Apia to Gladesville Ride Magic, MPL3, under 15s, had a good season. Trialed at Northern Tigers, made the under 16s there. And by the end of the season, I was like training basically full time with the first grade team. And I was benching I was playing 16s, benching 18s, 20s, and first grade. So I'd just be at the football ground all day. And yeah, I just loved it. Like honestly, you couldn't have I would have done more if I could have. Like I was just so hungry. And then at some point, I'm still playing MPL2. Like I'm sort of 19, 20, playing week in, week out in MPL2. And I just felt like I had the ability to go and do something, but I probably didn't have the coaching because, you know, like Northern Tigers is a great club, and like shout out Jason Ego, who's the TD there, basically since I came in there. They always provided like top level goalkeeper training for us, which not all MPL2 clubs have, but it was only once a week, and like so I would train, you know, twice a week with the team, and then I would train 3 times a week on my own. Like I would just, before uni, I'd go down to the field and just like kick balls for like an hour and a half. The best thing I ever did was buy a bag of balls. Like it was the best $300 I ever spent. And And I just thought, well, I need to find an environment I can train in full time, because like I thought, if I want to play in the A-League, I need to train more than the guys that are there, but only the guys that are there are training full time, right? So college ended up being the answer for me, and that was the second best decision I ever made.
Before you went to the college thing, what like quite a big change from under 14s striker to under 16s goalkeeper, benching for first team 18. What happened in those 2 years? Because a big change for physically, boys tend to change 13 to 15.
Yeah.
Was it a physical thing?
I grew late as well. I think I didn't grow until I was like 17. So I was quite small, but I also just, my whole life, like anyone that knew me at the time, like I was the football kid, you know, like that's all I ever did. Like when I remember being like 8, 9, I'd come home from school, drop my shit off, and I would be out playing football until it went dark. And or like school holidays, like my mum had to put a cap on how many times a week I could leave the house. Like kids nowadays, like, you know, the parents are begging them to get out of the house, but like my mum put a cap on, like, oh, you're only allowed out of the house 3 days a week, because otherwise I'd just be gone sun up to sundown, just playing ball.
In Scotland, I'm sure people from Australia have the exact same, but in like, I was born in 88, so like late 90s, early 2000s, that was pretty much the world. The world, not just like me, it was just what everyone done. It was, you'd finish, before, my school started at 8:30, or 8:45, and I'd go to school at 7:30.
Yeah.
And there was one other lad who would come, and we just so we could play football.
Yeah.
Because in the first, then soon they'd be 80, let's play 4v4. Then you go, let's play it all morning, and then first lunch break, as soon as you'd sprint out, bags down for goalposts, new game starts. And then lunchtime, same school, and that bit, constant.
It's interesting listening to you talk about it, because like you can see how much it means to you. And it's like one of them that I think that a lot of people now say, I want to play at this level, but their actions don't back up what they say. Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to say, but it takes the hour practicing striking the ball, the half hour here, the 45 minutes there, all the stuff that you're not necessarily in a structured environment. That's what people need to be doing if they do have ambitions and they're real about them. As I said, it's easy to say it, but it's very hard to back it up with the
it's also, again, we spoke about this last week. You're another person who's spoke about being under 14s, 15s, and not necessarily being in the system. Like, I mean,
playing
as a striker.
Because
nowadays a lot of kids think, oh, I'm 14, I'm never going to be a football player.
Yeah.
Oh, not even that. I'm never going to be a first grade football player at a decent club. You're like, you're 14, mate. You're 14. Like, just keep doing the right things and just let time do its thing, man.
Well, I made a deal with myself. Like I specifically remember sitting down and saying like, okay, how am I going to be a pro footballer? And like, just the first thing I had to do, I thought, was become a goalkeeper. And then I was just like, I don't know, I just had a belief that it was going to happen. And I think that what comes along with that is like, when push came to shove, like it's what I wanted to do more than anything. So I was willing to kind of, take chances. Like I think moving to America was a huge risk. Because at the time, not many people were doing it. And no one had gone there and come back and played in the A-League, at least that I'd known of. But again, that was my plan. Like I made, at that point, I was 19, so, or 20, and I literally had a bit more about me, so I literally sat down with a piece of paper at this point. So, the vision had gone from something in my head to, I literally wrote it down. And the first thing I wrote down on the top of the paper was, and it sounds corny as fuck, but like, the journey is the game, is what I wrote. And it was like a 5-year plan of how I was going to go from, I was playing at Northern Tigers in the MPL2 to a professional contract. And it only took 3 years in the end. So I beat the target by 2 years. Because I just didn't realize how beneficial going to college would be for me. Like, I was so hungry, but I'd kind of been starved of like stimulus. So once I got there and you're training like every single day, like performance in the US is top. And
you were in Florida as well, so you've got like the best of conditions. The weather's
like
brilliant.
pitches were amazing.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper coach that recruited me had a similar journey to what I wanted to do. He was a guy from Jamaica, Ryan Thompson, just a brilliant personality, like larger than life, so positive. And, he came from nothing in Jamaica and played in the Champions League and Europa League for Shamrock Rovers, won the Gold Cup with Jamaica. And he was actually on international duty in Peru, calling me up, recruiting me for this university team, you know? Yeah. And so I'm thinking like, well, I want to be coached by this guy because he obviously knows how to do it. And yeah, 3 years there, just never said no to anything, any extra training, any opportunity, like whether it was social or footballing, like it was just the best 3 years any early 20.
Oh, America's the best place. For college, it's the best thing
ever. Yeah, so I mean, I could talk about college for hours, man.
So that's what we talk about all the time, man. The stories are the best. We say to kids all the time, like if you don't want to go overseas and give it a crack, go to America. It's the next best thing. You'll get 4 years of football, full time, treated like a professional, and you'll get to meet people. Like my mates now, I've got mates from Germany, South America, all over. Come from a small place in Glasgow. It opens your mind to so many different things, man. And then you get, as you said, most importantly, you get treated like a pro. And it doesn't matter if you're playing with Marconi, Apia, whoever here, even first team. No replicating, training and it's twice a day, 3 times a day.
It's good that you're here talking about this, because I think that people almost think that you go to America and once you've done it, you've no chance of playing professional football. Do you know what I mean? They see it as, I'm just going to college. But to have you on here and talk about how that was your path to now playing at what's probably the biggest club in Australia, like it gives people that belief that it is something that's maybe worthwhile doing, even if it's a football dream they are chasing.
Yeah, no, that was the pathway for me. Like I knew I was going to go there, develop, and then go pro. And the 3 guys that I lived with for 3 years, they all came from all around the world with exactly the same goal. So you can imagine like 4 dudes living in a 3-story townhouse together, 5 minutes from campus. Like bags of fun, right? But also like if we had 2 days off, we would take the Saturday to recover from the Friday night. But then on the Sunday, we would just be training and like non-stop with each other. So, I mean, it was just the perfect environment to develop. And once I graduated with my degree, I did the combine, which is like they get, top college players from around the country get invited, and then scouts and coaches come and watch for professional teams. And I had a couple of good looks in the USL Championship, which is the second division in America. But the trials, I got invited to trial, but the trials weren't until the end of Jan, and we're talking like beginning of December. And I had always had a dream to play football in Europe. And so I kind of had 2 months to kind of do it. And I just booked a one-way ticket. Wasn't sure what I was going to find. I had not really any contacts. I chose Romania for a couple of reasons. I was dating a Romanian girl at the time, and her family put me up to begin with. So that kind of, took away that pressure. But I also was on, Transfer Market. Like I have an advanced search on that thing. So I did a search of the leagues in the world that had the highest percentage of foreign goalkeepers. Because I thought, as a visa player, that would give me the best chance. And obviously I capped the market value of the league. And I think I also wanted to know how many professional leagues there were in each country, because if there's a pyramid, you can kind of start at the bottom, work your way up. And just Romania ticked all the boxes, heaps of foreign goalkeepers, so that they obviously weren't producing tons of their own. And just the right market value of the league to kind of, for someone with no professional experience to come in. And after maybe a couple weeks of touching down, I emailed a few clubs, 10 clubs, and I got a trial at Rapid Bucharest, which I didn't know at the time, but is probably the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in Romania. Signed for 2 years.
That just came from an email?
So it was an email, and then they didn't even invite me in. They invited me for an interview, like a job interview.
Really?
Yeah, so it was me, the sporting director, and the owner of the club sat down in a room, and they just asking me your video looks great, but why have you not been a pro before? And I just told them my story, exactly what I just told you. And they were like, okay. At the end of the meeting, I think they were like, oh yeah, well, you come in on Monday, and you got 7 days. And then I ended up trialing for 2 months, man. obviously because they didn't want to pay my wages until so the last week of the transfer window, we were in Turkey on a preseason camp, and like the last day of the camp, they put the contract in front of me and I signed. And so then it was a 2-year deal, so I had a bit of time. It wasn't like there was heaps of pressure. Yeah, I did have some work permit issues in the first year, which like just meant crazy stress.
What happened? What was this crap?
Like because of COVID hit like a month after I signed,
right?
And so like immigration and stuff, which, you know, bureaucracy already in the Eastern Europe's like not the greatest, but COVID just kind of like really fucked it up, you know. And I think the club kind of thought like, oh well, you know, no one's kind of answering our emails, so it's like we'll just like stop sending them, you know. So I was being paid like my salary, but I didn't have a work permit, so I was essentially like working illegally in the country for like 10 months or something.
So were you able to get the money though?
I was being paid, that was also the problem, because now I was like committing like a
involuntarily.
Yeah, so I remember the day we went to the immigration and I got told, oh, we're going to get the papers sorted, like you're going to get your work permit. Great. We go in there, we're sitting down in the waiting room, it's fucking taking an awful amount of time. The guy comes out,
handcuffs?
Walks us down some steps, opens the door, and we go inside, flicks the light on, and it's a fucking broom cupboard, right? Like, and we're like face to face. This room is tiny. And he was like, yeah, this is the only room in the building with no cameras in it. Oh, and he was like, you know, I shouldn't be giving you the passport back. I should be putting you in handcuffs. And, but like, there's one way you can get out of this situation. And you're not going to like it, but...
don't tell me I pulled the zip down.
No. I ended up... I ended up getting shuttled across the border in like the back of a police van at like 1 a.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the idea was like the passport would get stamped.
Yeah.
And so then then I'd enter, and it would just like when I went, I had to leave one more time. I can't really remember what was going on. Like it was pretty hectic.
So you went from this place. You've not supposed to get a passport back. They've gave you the passport back. Well, not officially. They've shuttled you quietly in the back of a
club. I mean, I don't know how much I can say. Actually.
So you've been shuttled. However, you've got there in the back of a van.
Yeah.
Across the border.
Yeah, and back in, and I was lying down in the back, and we went over to Bulgaria. It got stamped. Came back in. It got stamped. And then I think from that, I was supposed to go back to the immigration, and it was like, oh, you've got a stamp on your passport. And it was kind of like a 50-50 chance of like whether the person would check the system or not.
Right.
But no, they ended up checking the system, and I got deported.
I was not expecting that.
But I was super lucky because the agent that deported me had worked at Astra Giurgiu, which was another big club in Romania. He was like their immigration specialist for a bit. And he was like, mate, like I know this isn't on you. I know the club's just been lazy and not wanted to pay certain taxes or whatever. So like, if you're okay with it, I'll drop you at the border with your passport, but you can't come back in. So I was basically just in Bulgaria with nothing but what I had.
So you got paid for the 10 months you were there though?
I was still getting paid at the time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And they never asked for that money back, like
no.
So you got that's not bad though, is it?
Yeah.
But you couldn't play football at that time, could you?
No.
You could train though?
I could train, yeah.
So you just get paid to train?
Yeah.
Not bad, but obviously a bit of stress involved in it.
Yeah. I mean, I was still learning. It was such a different environment to college. Like the level was much higher. So I probably wasn't going to play anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was lucky. I was so happy when it was all resolved. It was fucking stressful.
How was it training with him? Was like obviously stand-up was good, but were you in amongst the boys? Did he speak English? Was it?
No, like not many of the boys spoke English to me.
Yep.
I found out later that most of them, like a lot of them, could. So like I transferred to another team, and the same window, another guy from that team transferred with me, and suddenly like I was the only one that he knew there. Starts talking to me in perfect English,
really?
You know. But I'm fluent in Romanian. Like it was just the only way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think it took me like 12 months. I remember a year and a half, I did a 50-minute special, one-on-one, like for television, and it was completely in Romanian.
Oh, I must use that a lot, Romanian.
No, I'm probably never going to use it again.
That's fucking outstanding though, man. Class.
So I spent 4 years there. Like if you live somewhere for 4 years,
Oh,
you pick up the, you're gonna learn.
So that was a full 4 years you were there?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. So then, obviously, so you signed at another club in Romania.
Yeah, another big club, Devenish-Meares.
Yeah.
So how did you get back into the country?
So once I had left, it was actually way easier to get
like
the visa done.
Almost.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Because the problem with the visa was that I was in the country illegally, and they couldn't get it through. But once I was out of the country,
so did you just stay in Bulgaria?
Yeah, I just literally was just dropped in Bulgaria with nothing but like the clothes on my back and my phone, and I had to buy like a phone charger.
Another suitcase?
No, nothing.
So what did you do?
It took a few weeks. I just got an Airbnb. I mean, the club paid for an Airbnb for me.
Still Bucharest still paid?
No, Rapid Bucharest, yeah. And then 3 weeks later, work permit came. It was Christmas Eve.
Oh,
I remember, I was home for Christmas supper. It's good.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
So then obviously when you went to the other clubs, were you playing custody?
Yeah,
football?
then when I moved, so I had another year on my deal at Rapid with a lot more money because we got promotion that year.
Right.
And I could have stayed and just like gotten paid.
Yeah.
But I wanted to play as a pro. So I moved to Devenish-Meares. Horrendous season. Like we finished in the relegation playoffs. I think I played 12 games through the season, which was a good experience, but like Romanian fans are very hostile, and for your first like debut season, it's like tough. it was tough, man. Like riot police, like I mean, I got so many stories of like one time, like you just couldn't go out. If you lost, you could not go out in the city. Like you would, we would go get pizza. Like we would drive an hour to the next city just to go and eat. Because like if the fans saw us out, they just like harass us and abuse us. And
wow.
Like our own fans. I remember after one game, they made us take our shirts and shorts off on the field because it was televised, the game, and they basically just wanted to humiliate us in front of like the country.
But how did it make you do it?
It's like you turn to the captain who's 35, grew up in the city, and you're like, and I'm like, do I really have to do this? And he's like, trust me, it's going to be easier for everyone. Like if you just do it, you know.
Same guy from the broom cupboard. Clothes off.
Yeah. I mean,
you again.
The fans once stormed the change room, and like our coach at the time had like locked himself in the bathroom stall, and we're like outside between like one row of riot police, and they're fucking hurling shit at us like the fans are, and it was just like you felt at any moment, at least for me, I felt like at any moment it could just descend into chaos. But the Romanian boys seemed to feel like it was just a regular
standard.
Yeah.
That's chaos, man.
Yeah.
So great experience.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's intimidating and stuff, but it's as a footballing experience, it's fucking class.
Yeah. I mean, it was never a dull moment. In the 4 years I was there, I had 2 promotions and 1 relegation. So it was like, and they have a saying in Romania, when you win, it's a wedding, and when you lose, it's a funeral. And that's really what it's like. It's like when you're winning, you don't pay for a meal in town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's great.
Football mad.
Yeah. Which obviously coming from Australia, you're like, fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But then, the other side of that coin, it's like, if you're not providing the goods, if you're not performing, it's
stay
like,
at home.
Yeah. Like you literally see the 4 walls of your apartment for a year.
Wow. How was it living in Romania outside of the football, but was in a city? Was it nice?
I think for the first 2 years, I had a really good time. It was like, it's like a mountainous kind of vibe, which we don't really have here. So I was kind of exploring hiking, skiing, snow. There was lots of snow and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's only so many, blizzards you train in before you're like, oh, this is fucking shit. Just like wishing you can have a coffee down at Manly Beach again. So I think it took its toll. I think my last year there, although on the field it was great, like promoted with like a small team to like a national stage with a tiny village team. Like I was just burnt out, and I was like kind of a little bit depressed. Like I just had spent so much energy kind of shielding myself from an environment that was like super negative. And it just kind of took its toll on me. So I was more than ready to move home.
Yeah, class.
Yeah.
And then obviously you came back straight to Rockdale.
Yeah, you want the long version or the medium version?
Whatever you want, give us, mate.
So it was a winter break in Romania, and I'd come back for a couple of weeks, and I messaged. I got the numbers of 6 A-League coaches, like assistant coaches and goalkeeper coaches, and just sent my reel. And I just said like, hey, I'm playing in Romania in 2nd division, and I'm coming back. I just want to train for a week and show you what I've got, basically. And only one coach responded, and it was Matty Nash, the goalkeeper coach at Sydney FC. I went in there for a week, did well, I thought, and we just stayed in touch. And he just kept mentoring me like over those months. I think like I really wanted to get to that level, and I was just asking him so many questions, and he's like a encyclopedia of goalkeeping. Like he's honestly Einstein. And yeah, so at the end of that season, I was like I said, I wasn't in a good place, and I was just like, mate, like I want to move back to the A-League, but I'm playing in like a low European league. Like, what's better for me, like playing in the MPL or continuing another year here? And he was just like, mate, like playing in the MPL, hands down, like people are going to be seeing you. You can come in and train and whenever you want. And so that was kind of for me, like I needed to just go back and play in the MPL. And yeah, it's kind of how it eventuated. And I didn't really expect to sign at Sydney FC. I just kind of came back and started training there full time. Was playing at Rockdale, and then it just eventuated into a contract.
So when you're playing with Rockdale, you're signed by Sydney FC?
I think I signed like 2 weeks before the MPL started.
Right. Okay.
But I'd been training for 6 months already with Sydney FC.
Right. Okay.
That was the other thing. So I was training full time with Sydney FC, like, and then training 3 times a week with Rockdale.
Oh, fuck, aye.
Yeah. So I was doing like 8 sessions a week
tough,
with a game. And like I would almost be falling asleep before training at Rocky. And like, again, testament to that change room, because once training started, it was so competitive. Like you've got Euro talking more shit than you've ever heard in your life, and like holding no prisoners. So it's like, if you're not on your game, he would just... I love training with Euro. As a goalkeeper, it was just like... Yeah. If I wasn't concentrated, he'd just make me look like an idiot, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It was a great...
So how was your... Obviously, you were half a season, or 3/4 of a season at Rockdale?
I got half the season, I think.
Half a season. I remember him.
How was it?
In a couple of games year before as well.
Yeah.
He came in. I think you came in the first week you played that weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, and you tripped on the ball.
Yeah.
So typical Lockie.
So
I was like, "Who's this guy?"
Honestly, that's how it went. I'd done my grade 3 MCL, and that was my first game back in like 13 weeks, and he didn't know that. I've come back in against Mariners as well, and 10 minutes in, I've gone to open up, player pressing me. You know when you go put your studs on the ball and drag it back? I pushed it the other way.
Oh, no.
And Bratman just ran through and scored. And that was the first thing I had to do that game, pick the ball out of the net.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no. We won that game. I think Euro scored a bicycle like the 87th minute or something.
Classic.
But then in training, like we didn't know who H was. We were like, we didn't know where he come from really or anything. We didn't hear much. And then in training, the first couple of weeks, he was making saves that I've never seen a keeper make before.
Yeah. And
then that's when we started noticing. Then he's like, oh, I'm training with Sydney FC now. And then,
like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, there we go. And then I was like, oh, you can play with us every weekend. That's fine.
So were you working as well, or it was just Sydney FC paying wages?
I mean, no. I was that year. I just trained for nothing.
So how are you paying bills?
Well, Rocky were paying.
Oh, Rocked up in you. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so you're like,
on the bank box.
Living in a mansion.
But my 4 years in Romania, like I'd started a couple of businesses, and so I was kind of still making a bit of money from those.
Yeah.
Which really helped. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it.
What businesses did you start?
So I started an agency in which I managed elite tennis players, and I started with just Aussie tennis players, like top.
Oh, you do stuff with Wagner and Wolf, don't you?
Yeah,
that's
so
right,
I was,
that's right.
So I basically created the whole tennis side of that business.
Yeah, okay.
So I was probably managed over 20 players from around the world. Like I ended up having players from Germany, Italy, Romania, and loads from Australia. And then basically just taking them over to the US, negotiating their scholarships, making sure it's a good deal, that they're going to a good place. That was like awesome. I'd love to do something in sports management after I retire, because especially tennis players, like, they're just so much more fucking motivated than footballers.
Individual sport, tough.
Like, I used to go watch some of them play, and like the self-talk, like the amount of self-love they show themselves during the game, it's just like fucking warrior mentality. Yeah. And I started thinking like, man, I should start talking myself like that.
Well, two reasons. One, I was going to say, one, goalkeeping is like an individual sport.
100%.
And then two, I do think it is a bit of a barrier sometimes in football. The whole, like you said, I wrote down a bit of paper, my 5, and before you said it, you said, oh, it sounds a bit corny. But see, in a lot of individual sports, that's not corny, but it's such a powerful thing. The mindset stuff is so powerful, but there's a bit of a stigma to it. Like, I don't really want to be seen. People might do it privately, but there's not as much open discussion about that stuff, and it's so powerful. Like,
well, Rocky, like, H should be in the change room with his journal and stuff, like just journaling, even in the change room, and everyone be like, "What are you doing?" But then in the end, it was just like a very normal thing for H just to be sitting there writing in his journal in the change room.
Still get boys drawing all kinds of.
Is it super bad?
Yeah, I can't leave my journal anywhere, man.
So then, Sydney FC, how's that been?
Amazing.
Like, obviously, a dream come true.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Just class. Like, well done to you for
superb, mate,
putting that down and then achieving it. I mean, that's fucking incredible. But how's it been? Obviously, A-League, full-time environment in Australia, close to home. You loving it?
I mean, it was a crazy season. Like, we had so much going on with the Champions League and then the A-League. Like, we were traveling all over the place. And then just like the craziest travel schedules into a game, you know? So it was, and I kind of had this idea of like, just be curious about what something feels like. And so rather than saying like, oh, you know, we're going to be landing off a flight, you know, from Asia on a Friday in Perth and then playing on a Saturday, having not trained for a couple of days because you're in a plane, you know? And instead of being like, oh no, like I haven't had my prep done, just more being like, oh, I wonder how this is going to go, you know? And I felt like I personally, it was a good experience to kind of have under the belt. Because again, like I think in future, you know, seasons, it probably won't be as
hectic.
Yeah, as hectic. But I mean, playing in you know, stadiums with great support. I mean, a derby, like playing in a Sydney derby, it's awesome.
Did you, when you went in, did you expect to get the number 1 shot as, let's say, as early as you did?
No, but I didn't really have any expectation.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, whatever happens. Like, I'm just going to show up and do what I've always done. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, it's not my, you know, it's not my decision. Like, whatever happens. But there was so much I had to learn, because obviously a lot of that team had been together for so long. So there were certain ways that they did things that I kind of had to learn very quickly. And I knew there were going to be mistakes along the way. Like, I think I was far from perfect. Like, I think I did a lot of great things during the season, but I think, you know, there was some mistakes made, of course, but I tried really hard not to, you know, bash myself up for those mistakes. Because again, it was like a transition season, which I was having to learn so much. You know, what really helped me was I started seeing a psychologist, but not like just any psychologist, a hypnotherapist. So like basically, like we'll do a session, and once I'm under hypnosis, like I'll leave. I don't even know what's kind of been said, but the recording I can go home and listen to, and I listen to what's been said. But basically, when you're under hypnosis, it's all like automated, so it just goes
subconscious,
exactly straight to your subconscious. And once I started doing that, I saw massive changes. So if anyone's interested, you've got you recommend, yeah, class. It was so cool.
So what made you go there? What did you think you needed to go there? Like,
I just thought, like, I felt like I'd been chasing something my whole life.
Yep.
Like I said, since I was 15, I had this mindset of like, okay, these other guys are here and I'm here. How can I get there? You know? But what the mindset that gets you to that point doesn't serve you once you're actually there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, and I think I realized that after a few weeks was like,
what now?
well, yeah, like I need to change my mindset to like, I'm not trying to get here anymore. Like I need to do it. Yeah, exactly. So, that was kind of where I was like, you know, experimenting a lot with different breathwork techniques and mental coaches. And I think I just landed on hypnotherapy after one session. I was just like, wow, this is completely different. Like I'm talking like walking onto a field and just feeling like completely different person from 1 week to the next, you know? And then over weeks, even stuff like there were things that I wanted to add to my game that I'd tried to add to my game for weeks in training, like little habits.
Yeah.
That in training, didn't matter how many times I did it in training, like in the match, it would come up again. And because of the pressure or you know, whatever, it's like you fall into the same habit again, right? But do a hypnotherapy session on it and it's like, bam.
Stuck.
Yeah. And this is like, this hypnotherapist guy, he's not a goalkeeper coach. Yeah. I'm describing what I want to achieve. And then while I'm under hypnosis, he's implanting it and then it comes off.
That's mental because I look at that from the point of view of you've done the action so many times in a certain way. So as much as you try to change it in your training session, when you go into games and you're not thinking about your actions, you revert to what you've done so many times. Right. So then, as you say, going in and then changing this subconscious is so fucking interesting.
Yeah,
because then it...
And goalkeeping is so technical.
Of course
and from one coach to the next, it's like, you know, it's almost like they're trying to change your entire game. 100%. You know, so I just felt like if I wanted to make that happen as quickly as possible, I thought it just could help me, you know.
That's really interesting.
I mean, I don't think it's by any surprise that you've got to where you are, mate, because you've clearly had a very tunnel vision approach to it. I mean, take away football, but I mean, I think in any industry, whether it be business or sport, you need that to get to the levels you want to get to. Like, I'm sure all of us sitting here and anyone listening has got their own individual goals, but I think a lot of it nowadays is so easy just to, what they call it, mental masturbation, basically. Just going, I want to do this, but nothing actually fucking happens. Yeah. I think to go and have the balls to sit in a changing room with a journal to, well, not that to say that's a golden ticket. Someone like listening might not do that and still get to the same place, but for you that worked, to have the balls and go and try hypnotherapy, to have the balls to go and buy a bag of balls and go and fucking to fly to Romania. And if you listen to any people in top, again, I'll go back to entrepreneurs and business people and then sport elite athletes as well, they've always got a few key things. Like, you took a punt to go to America. That was a big change. Took a punt going to Romania. There's obviously wee funny stories in between that, but some people are scared to fucking leave Sydney.
100%, man.
Yeah. Well, I when I came back to the MPL, I think a lot of guys I've talked to that played in lower professional leagues overseas, they're like also scared about coming back to the. I don't want to come back to the. I don't want to come back to the MPL. And I was never scared of coming back to the MPL.
Best league in the world, you always say, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. But there's so many quality players in this league.
Mate. I agree.
And I think like there are tons of them that could have a professional career. And I've talked to a lot that are like, I'd like to play overseas, but I'm talking to this guy and they're trying to figure it out. It's like, you can't wait. You need to go. Once you're there, they take you seriously.
Fucking do it. Just fucking do it.
If you're just some kid in Australia that's emailing, it's like, to them,
there's a million other
real.
people sending an email.
But like show up on their doorstep, like work a couple of extra hours a week or pick up a coaching job or whatever, like save a bit of money and just show up on a doorstep somewhere. Like that was tried and true back in the 90s, like cool, door knocking.
It's class.
Oh, 100%, mate. And that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, man. Fucking giving it a go, executing, taking action, trying it. Because as you said, mate, if you don't, somebody else will, and then they'll be like, I should have got that, I deserve that. You
didn't try that hard.
Nobody's debating whether or not you're good enough, mate. But you didn't. Nobody knows. It's like being the best. Like you having the best business in the world, you're the best baker in the world, but nobody knows who you are. You exist. Like you've got the best. This is the best football in the world, but no one. It's in my garage. No one's ever seen it. What's the fuck's the point?
But I also think that one of the reasons why the MPL New South Wales is one of the best leagues in the world is because you can live in Sydney, and you can train 3 times a week and
get good money.
And like. If that's what's stopping you, then
lifestyle.
Fair enough, man.
It's a brilliant lifestyle.
Because it's when there's no hot water and it's minus 12 degrees and you've just had your ass kicked on a field in fucking Buckell. It's like you know, it's pretty shit.
Oh, aye, it's unbelievable. Somebody said that before here as well. I can't remember what it was. Same thing. Like it is a ridiculous lifestyle. Like, and you think, I think it was Janjevic. I think he said it. He's like what, when he went back to Wolves, he's like, fucking still getting paid money, still training 3 times a week, still getting, and you get to work full time, and some other passion you've got, you can still have time for your family. Incredible. And then if you're young enough, you can still, like you've just shown, you can still get to A-League. It still is a window. I mean, it's not a direct path by any means, but it's still a fucking, there's very few professional leagues in the world that you can just go to the tier, like a semi-pro below, and go shoot up to the top league. No, very, very unusual. But
and you've slightly off topic, been nominated for the Dolan Award, eh?
Save of the season. What a save, what a save.
What was this?
And so the A-League do, like, it's called the Dolan Awards.
Dolan?
Aye, and he's this like save of the year, player of the year, goal of the year.
What was the save?
Against Wellington?
Western United.
Western it was.
What was the save?
It was kind of a corner, front post, Bodic, header, and it was sort of behind me, and I've just like thrown an arm at it, and it's hit me like on the top of the wrist, and it's just from almost directly under the bar. I don't know how it's gone over the top.
Yeah, it's an Northern lad in the
What do you reckon? Good enough to win it?
Get my vote, mate. 100%.
Bet you don't vote.
Bet you I will. As soon as this is finished,
Who votes for it?
Everyone.
Just fan
Public.
voted.
Public?
Yeah.
There you go.
So everyone that listens, jump on
Champion
and
football
vote for
listeners,
him,
jump on. Genuinely, send us a link. You get it, we'll post the link.
All right.
We'll get this.
I'm also doing a fundraiser at the moment for the Cancer Council.
I saw that.
Okay,
So if you can like plug that would be awesome.
Yep, cool. What's the fundraiser?
So my mum was diagnosed with cancer back in 2021. And they're doing their big drive. The Cancer Council have the Australia's biggest morning tea, and I'm an ambassador of it this year. So yeah, just trying to raise some money for cancer research.
Yeah.
Well, mate, my dad got cured of cancer 3 weeks ago, so he got the all clear. So definitely behind that, mate.
Yep.
Aye, superb, brilliant, good stuff.
Nice.
Okay,
Fast,
go to
boys.
predictions.
Go on predictions. See what you have got in your locker. See how much you know about NPL football, boys. You've got the sheet there. I gave you it by mistake.
Mate, 10 out of 11, mate. I should have the sheet. There you go.
Cheers, man. So, wait, what's boys? 4 games from each league. Obviously, win, lose, draw, and we keep scores. So now Darcy's jumped to the top of the guess. He's got 8. So before that, it was 7 was the top. Right. So we'll start with St George FC versus Olympic Bay St George.
10.
If it's on.
10, how you doing, mate? St George, what are you thinking? First scorer. I'll go. It's that. I want to go Olympic.
I'm going to go Olympic. Away. Boys?
I'll go draw.
Draw.
I'll go Olympic.
I'm going to go Olympic as well. I'm just going to copy Gary this week and see if I can get 10. That I mean, Mount Druitt at home to Western Sydney Wanderers.
Oh,
Druitt.
Gonna go Mount Druitt as well.
I've went Mount Druitt too.
Yeah, same.
Wolves at home to Apia.
Lockie Scott might still. If Lockie Scott's out, which I'm going to assume he is out, so I want to say Apia.
Yeah, I'll go up here as well.
Where are they playing at the moment? Wolves.
They played at Win at the weekend, so
I'll go Apia.
I've gone Apia. I actually had. You just played Blacktown, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that in because I thought it was a big game.
Marconi.
I didn't want to.
I don't usually do the guess.
I didn't want to put it in because obviously you'd need to pick Marconi, then he'd need to pick Marconi because he's sitting beside you. Central Coast Mariners at home to Manly.
Manly.
I'm going Central Coast.
Yeah, I'll go Central Coast.
NPL2 Spartans at home to Rydomere.
Spartans.
I've gone Spartans too.
I want to go draw.
We get big game at the bottom of the table. 2 new coaches, Hills versus Rams.
I'll go Hills.
Yeah, Hills.
I'm going Hills too. Another big game, by the way. Bulls versus Tigers.
Is it at MacArthur?
It'll be at Densler Park.
Is that where they play their home games?
The home games, yeah.
The Tigers. Come on, the Tigers.
Yeah, go the
Tigers. Tiger friends.
Cream of Tigers.
I want to go Tigers as well, aye. Cracking me Japanese centre half.
I'm going to go Bulls.
You're hoping Bulls?
No, well, Bulls are above us now by a point as well.
Oh, they aye.
So Bulls win, Bulls jump Tigers.
By the way, it's an absolute disgrace that Dribble's got that as Northbridge.
Yeah, I agree. Mounties Wanderers at home to Bankstown Berries.
Fucking not a clue. I'll go draw.
I've went draw as well.
Draw.
Berries.
Draw Berries. Now on MPL3, Stanmore at home to Parramatta.
Parramatta.
Yeah.
Stanmore.
Going draw. You're Parramatta?
Yep.
Home. Dunbar at home to Hurstville Zagreb.
Zagreb.
Yeah, Zagreb.
Zagreb.
Top of the league.
Zagreb, I guess.
I hope. Granville Rage at home to South Coast Flames.
Granville.
Granville. That was quick.
So
There,
let's go
by
up
the
They're
way.
in the cup still, you know?
Yeah.
Get that cup
But
behind them.
to be fair, they're only 3 points off South Coast.
I'm going South Coast.
I'm going to go South Coast as well. Are they at home, South Coast?
Nah, they're away.
Granville.
I'm going to go Granville as well, if Granville are at home.
I think South Coast Flames have scored 6. The game before that, they scored 7. And the game before that, they scored 6, I think.
Oh, well, Granville just scored more goals than them, so.
Wow. Sydney Uni at home to Central Coast United.
Sydney Uni.
I'm going Sydney Uni as well, man.
Central Coast United.
Central Coast.
Central Coast.
Suicide, mate.
Griffo, good choice, mate. This is our first 3 points of the season, I feel it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done?
Done, guys.
Thanks
Thank
very
you
much for your time, mate.
Thanks for having
Cheers,
us.
lads. Yeah, it was class.
Superb.
Enjoyed it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Lovely, boys.
Yeah, good episode, man. Yeah. Thanks for having us. What was that guy's name you said? The gaffer was the wank.